Okay, guys, let me know how the sound is this morning. We are here. We got retail sales data. Market's actually pulling back a little bit today, but we got retail sales data at 8:30. Starting the stream a little early, but that's all right. Let me make sure everything's running smoothly. It looks like it is. Yeah. Sound is good. All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna get everything set up. Let me get some music going first here. We got, I think, like retail sales. We got Empire State Manufacturing data too. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think we have Empire State Manufacturing data as well. I'll have to go look. But you can see the Nasdaq 100 is down to 20.84, so 845 under 21K. Big drop, to be honest. Here, it dipped a lot yesterday, and again, I'm not surprised to see the correction. I kind of talked about this. Can y'all hear the music? Hold on. No, you can't. Let me know if the music's loud enough. If it needs to be louder or what. We're going to do a poll here as well. But yeah, you can kind of see down here. Like, if you look at the NASDAQ right here, you know, the NASDAQ, it's down. It opened up way up here yesterday, like way above these levels. And you can kind of see the big pullback we got this morning already. So like, look at the big pullback starting this morning back here. NASDAQ is down significantly. You can kind of see what it did yesterday during market hours too. So if we zoom out here, one of the things that Powell said yesterday, so one of the things that Jerome Powell said was that they might be less aggressive in their rate cuts for the rest of this year and easing into next year. I think that's what I told people would happen with the economic reports that dropped, is that Powell and the gang might be less aggressive with their rate cuts. I still think they're probably going to cut rates, and I think if we look at like the probabilities here, you could always gauge what they're going to do on something called the FOMC, the CME Group Fed Watch tool. So currently we have about a 60% chance that we're going to cut 25 basis points, which is right here. This is a 60%, 59% chance. We got a 41% chance that we're going to do no cut. And so we were telling people this yesterday when Jerome Powell, this is 25 basis points. Oh, that's a bad beat. Yeah, hold on. So this is 25 basis points. And then this is no cut. So it's about 60-40 right now, about 60-40. We'll see if it changes, but that's what we're looking at right now. So it's still pretty probable that we're going to cut rates next month. What could change this is, you know, economic data coming in better or worse than expected. You know, economic data coming in better or worse. We'll see what that means. Yeah, we got the Empire State Manufacturing Survey. Yeah, GameStop, AMC flying up as well. Look at GameStop and AMC, man. GameStop been making runs. So we'll see if that continues. We're gonna do a poll. Are you bullish or bearish on today's retail sales data? Bull, bear. So I'm gonna put a little infographic up here. We started updating our stream from yesterday. People said they didn't, you know, some people were making fun of it, but it's okay. Okay, so we got this. I gotta remember we got condensed extra bold font. Alright. Yeah. So we'll play today. Retail sales are expected at, so yeah, retail sales data coming out today. They are expected at 0.3%. All right. Yeah, I gotta find what I was using yesterday. Yeah, we got some news coming pretty soon too. Is it AMS? off. Let's cancel this. Let's look okay. TW, okay, gotcha. Sorry, guys. We got retail sales data coming today. Color we'll go with like a yellow. And then we want it to be slightly gradient with like a lighter yellow is what I did here, like this. I think. Yep, there we go. All right. Yeah, so we can put this like right here. Let's see, we got about there we go. All right. So we'll put that in the middle here. I'll stick myself somewhere. Where should I put my floating head today, chat? John, the floating head thing is ridiculous. Yeah, I know. But it's all right because I like it because it blocks less of the charts. You know, so it really does block less of the charts. So like I can stick myself right here, and we can get a full screen of charts. Honestly. So yeah. I made multiple 10x's in crypto the past few weeks. Nice. Hey, congrats. Regardless of the day, retail sales will go up with Friday, Christmas, New Year. 100%, yeah. Bottom left. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's where I swam over here. Yeah. Yeah, we got Empire State Manufacturing. We got a couple economic reports coming out. So we have the retail sales data. It's expected at 0.3%. We got core retail sales data expected at 0.3% as well. We've got capacity utilization at 9.15, industrial production numbers at 9.15. Some of these might move markets. Retail sales definitely will, at least a little bit. Import-export prices. We also have Empire State Manufacturing data expected at 0%. Last time it was minus 11.9%. So pretty big, you know, negative number last time for Empire State data here, and today we'll have to see if it's updated. Yeah, so we did a poll. We asked people, are you bullish or bearish on today's retail sales data? 80% out of 40 votes already say they are bullish. 20% are bearish here. 80% are bullish, 20% are bearish. Hey, well, good luck, Milk. I hope you make money, bro. Just remember, I'm very hesitant to tell people to quit jobs, right? Like, everybody always wants to quit jobs. I always tell them it's probably not a good idea, regardless of how much money you make. Unless you made, like, I'll put it this way, $50,000 is not enough money to quit your job, right? Not unless the only way you should quit your job with that type of money is if you have a very good plan. And you also, and your job is like, not the hardest thing to get back into, right? Like if it's a really good corporate job with good benefits, I would be really hesitant to do that. But if it's like a cashier somewhere, I mean, you know, that's insignificant. Yeah, so Mike Tyson, it's today, Daniel. So today Mike Tyson fights Jake Paul this evening. I thought somebody said AMC was ripping. Well, GameStop is ripping or has been ripping. AMC's basically been flat for months. A 15-minute chart shows AMC's bumped up a little bit from last Friday. The last week, AMC's up from 420s to 460s. Yeah, Bitcoin, chat. Look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin up to 90.35. Or really Bitcoin up to currently about 89.5 or so. All right, let's check out what we got going on in markets here. We kind of updated it from yesterday too. I think the first day I used OBS, you know, it was a little cheap looking. Now we fixed it up some. All right, so we got a couple news stories to cover today. Nvidia stake sends this AI stack higher. Applied Digital is a US-based provider of advanced digital infrastructure designed to support high-performance computing and AI. So if we look at AP, what's the symbol? It's like APLD. Yeah, APLD. So APLD had earnings yesterday. It's an AI stock. It's gapping up a little bit overnight, up to 708. It reported a stake in Nvidia. It held roughly 7.7 million. Oh. Nvidia reported a stake in this company, in APLD. So Nvidia is holding roughly 7.7 million shares of APLD, Applied Digital Corporation, or a roughly 3% stake in the company, according to an SEC filing. Applied Digital is a US-based provider of, again, infrastructure, AI, computing, and applications. In its fiscal fourth quarter ending August 31st, the company saw revenue growth of 67% year over year and said it secured a $160 million investment from institutional and accredited investors. So Applied Digital gapping up a little bit on a stake from Nvidia. Nvidia is holding a piece of them. So Warren Buffett's company Berkshire Hathaway has just bought Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza, super expensive here. So, but yeah, Buffett's Berkshire buys shares of Domino's Pizza and Pool Corporation, and they sold more Apple stock. So again, Warren Buffett took some stake in Domino's Pizza, DPZ, and you can see DPZ gapping up a little bit. Also, swimming pool supplier Pool Corp, which is symbol POOL, in the third quarter. It took stakes in both of those in the third quarter, continuing to trim out Apple. It's a part of a series that they've been doing of shareholder adjustments disclosed in regulatory documents filed late Thursday that show Buffett is still, he's still selling stocks technically. He's net selling. Like if he's buying some stuff, he's selling some stuff, but overall it's negative as he builds, you know, their big cash holdings. It has currently 320 billion from 270 billion in the second quarter. So bumping up a little bit for Buffett. Is Apple down on this news, I wonder? So let's take a look at Apple. So is Apple down? Apple is down a little bit, although Apple ran yesterday. That's kind of like the NASDAQ did not. So this trended against the NASDAQ here. So Apple, looking at Apple above me here, Apple is trending against the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is down over the last day. If you look at the NASDAQ over here, like on the left side, you know, the NASDAQ is down. It downtrended all day yesterday, basically. You know, it's down this morning in pre-market. The NASDAQ down here is just down. But Apple, one of the most heavily weighted, you know, stocks in terms of the S&P, actually is up. You can see it gapped up yesterday. It moved up yesterday, although it did drop a little bit in pre-market. Like if we look at the pre-market session here, like right here, Apple's down. So Apple dipped in pre-market, NASDAQ down overall, and this probably has to do with Buffett selling shares. I don't think people are trying to figure out if this is some big sign of weakness in Apple. Again, I was talking to my friends about this, or some of my friends. Apple is going to be around for a long time, right? Like I could buy my daughter a brand new Samsung device and she would not take it over a 5-year-old Apple iPhone, you know? And so Apple has done a very smart thing. Once people start to use one carrier, like one type of phone, they very rarely switch to a different operating system and a different phone. And so what Apple's doing is getting young people to buy Apple. They want to be cool. They don't want to buy Samsung. Samsung's not cool. I have a Samsung. It's not cool for them. So interesting. But yeah, Alibaba is said to be considering offer $5 billion of bonds. So BABA shares here, they're considering offering $5 billion of bonds. Alibaba's gapping up a little bit. So it's a potential debt sale. It could include dollar and yuan parts. Some people said, some people specified this, but they asked not to be identified. They said it could come after a record private offering of $5 billion of convertible bonds in May by the company. The last time Alibaba sold dollar notes in public markets was with a $5 billion multi-part deal in 2021. So we'll see what Alibaba does there. Again, taking a look at Amazon here. Amazon's down significantly, you know, so Amazon's down. Gap down this morning as well as dropped yesterday. We can take a look at Google. Google's down as well, although Google's up big on the year. Meta down as well. Most of tech is down. Tesla, on the other hand, is gapping up a little bit. And Tesla actually just went green this morning in pre-market. So if you want to see a stock this morning that's kind of like fighting for green, like look at Tesla up here, like Tesla down here, like look, Tesla, the previous closing price right here is where it was red to green on the day. So this previous closing price right here is where it's from red to green. It has now fought above that, and now it's technically green on the day. So again, Tesla technically green on the day now when it was red most of the morning. So under that previous closing price, under that light blue line, like right below me, you can see Tesla maintained under that. So it was red most of the day. Also had a red day yesterday. Really nice downward trending day though. And again, I thought we might get some bearish action, and it looks like that's what we're getting. So what do you guys think we got this morning? Do you guys think we'll get bullish or bearish action? Let me go back in my corner. All right. I approve the subtle changes of the text. Looks much better. Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, I just had to fix it out. Like I've been really busy on my end. And so when StreamYard messed up the other day, I just fixed it. I kind of sat here updating the stream graphics. I know OBS. I know how to use OBS. I used it for years prior to StreamYard, and so I know OBS. There's a job that's easy to get back into. Right, yeah. I do like the floating head because I can kind of be like a weatherman in stocks. Like you guys see me, I can like float around and be like my own little weatherman here. And so it's kind of cool. Like I can float around, I can be a little weatherman, I can use my hands to show some stuff. Ooh, I made some strong coffee this morning. Oh, it's too strong, man. Oof. Palantir pumping after news of swapping to NASDAQ. So is the news that Palantir is going to, let me see. All right, so Palantir Technologies held its first developer conference, DevCon, yesterday and the day before. They launched new releases such as Ontology SDK 2.0, new platform APIs, and Workflow Builder. So yeah, this is mostly up on the news of their developer conference and products. Palantir up to $61 a share though. Bitcoin is flying up this morning. Here's Bitcoin futures. Right now, guys, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's making a move back up. It's still got a ways to go before it hits highs, but like look at this area right here. Like Bitcoin making its move up, fighting its way up, climbing its way up dramatically here. So look, Bitcoin rising big. We got a major support level like right there that I've drawn on the chart. I can't guarantee it's going to be like a good support level, but we drew this level right here on the chart, and yeah. We'll see if it keeps going. If I put like a 15-minute chart up, you'll get a clearer picture. So we're still in a pretty sideways range from everything here. Let me get myself out the way. Like we're still in a pretty sideways range from everything over the last like few days. You know, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days. So 4 days, we are still in a pretty sideways range. But I think that makes it really easy to look at. You know, we got this high up here. The real high is what, like 93K. So this is Bitcoin futures. If we look at the actual Bitcoin price right now, it is about, you know, $800 less, right? And so if we look at the actual high that we put in the other day, again, it's the same thing. It's about $800 less, about $1,000 less. So the real highs are about 93,000. So, but these are Bitcoin futures, so there's subtle price differences. All right, guys. But yeah, NASDAQ. Yeah, Bitcoin making moves. Are Bitcoin stocks following it up? Coinbase. Well, to a certain extent, yes, but they're pulling back some of the last few days. Mara, down. Riot, down. So most of these are up big, but they're down over the last few days as Bitcoin consolidates. MicroStrategy, though. Look at this one. This one's starting to make moves up too. It's starting to, if we put a 1 minute chart up, look at this increase in movement. Wow. MicroStrategy getting up there big. Yeah, MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor. Smart guy. Really smart guy. Proved a lot of people wrong too. You love to see it. But Bitcoin's pumping here, chat. It's pumping. Yeah, so I'm trying to see what else we got. So today's Friday, right? Next week I think is kind of slow too. We got housing starts, building permits, jobless claims. Oh, we got Nvidia earnings next week. That'll be crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, Nvidia earnings are going to be absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Nvidia earnings are going to be next Wednesday, I believe, right? Like, let me see. And Nvidia, I don't think I've looked at that today. You know, this was once like the Super Bowl of stocks. Oh, this morning we had Alibaba earnings. Alibaba posted miss EPS and miss revenue, but somehow Alibaba, and this is why it's so hard to gauge what these stocks are going to do overseas. It's hard to figure out what these companies are going to do. Again, miss EPS, miss revenue, down 4% in terms of missing percentage. Revenue came in at 33.7 billion. So they actually, I'm sorry, they beat revenue, missed EPS. Slight miss on revenue too, but they're up a little bit as well. Potential bond offering, I guess, is what makes them go up. And I'm looking at some other stuff here next week. Economic data is a little like next week, but we do have like Nvidia earnings, of course, which are freaking nuts. We got Walmart, Lowe's, Workhorse, a couple other stuff dropping. Wednesday's the big boy. Wednesday, we got a lot of big earnings, to be honest. Next Wednesday, we've got Neo, Target, TJ Maxx, Wix.com, Zim. And then the big one is Nvidia, Snowflake in the evening, Jack in the Box. So we got a lot of stuff happening next Wednesday. Well, if I'm Michael Saylor, I'm at least taking some profit, considering how much he's up. But at the same time, like, he's also up so much money that it doesn't really matter either way, right? If you like, to be honest, if you have $1 billion, you know, you won't ever need for money again if you have $1 billion, just $1 billion, right? And so what is this net worth? $9 billion, right? So he really does have the money to play with it. Like, you know, if you have $1 billion, if you have 300 million, you'll never need to work again, of course. Now, there's some things you can do with, you know, more that you can't do with less, but at the same time, it's just so much money when it hits $1 billion plus that it doesn't matter. So. BTC Digital, BTCT, has signed Bitcoin miner equipment hosting agreements with RTC company and Asia Investment Fund SP2 to manage 1,100 Bitcoin mining machines in the US. Interesting here. So BTCT. So BTCT, chat, up to 2180s here. 2180s gapping up a little bit. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to crypto mining. I really wouldn't. You have to look at it as a form of like almost like DCAing long-term investments. The only problem with Texas is energy grid here is unstable and somewhat expensive. Actually, it's less expensive than the national average. The average energy rate in Texas is 14.83 cents per kilowatt an hour, which is about 11% lower than the national average of 16.63. I know some people that basically put shipping container homes in deserts and put solar panels on top of the shipping containers. and they put a bunch of mining equipment sitting in the desert, rent it out, get the sun to heat it up and run it, and just bank money from it pretty easily. So maybe I should put up some stuff here. You got any thoughts on NVO? I don't really know much about this. Is this a asthma inhaler company? Like, my wife has asthma, and so I'm pretty sure this is an asthma inhaler company, right? Outside of that, if that's true, I really have no idea about this company. I don't know it. Oh, they specifically manufacture diabetes care medicines. I just don't know anything about this. Okay, so one thing about Novo is they have the weight loss drugs. The reason they're up so much this year is because they do the weight loss drugs, like Ozempic and stuff like that. And so they're pulling back a little bit. But yeah, they do the weight loss drugs. Yeah, every morning when I wake up, I have like acidy reflux. It's not fun at all. Where's the Dow out despite all this stuff? So the Dow, I'm trying to figure out what I should do. The Dow is down. It's down to 43.74 thousand, 43.74. Down today, but overall, of course, the Dow is up with everything else, you know, making its big runs recently. And I'm in pretty good shape, right? Like, I can tell jujitsu's making me lose some weight. Like, I'd probably train a little bit too much. What kind of watch should I buy myself for Christmas, guys? Ready for the fight tonight? Remember the Jimothy bet? Okay, what is it? So if Tyson wins, you get to call me Jimothy? Deal. That's a deal. Honestly, Tyson ain't about to win, brother. He's not about to win, dude. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I will literally happily be called Jimothy for however, like for a day or whatever the bet was. If Tyson wins, I would gladly take that bet and celebrate if I'm wrong. I really will celebrate if I'm wrong. Everybody should want to see Tyson beat Jake Paul, right? The problem is that Jake Paul is probably a juiced out 20-something-year-old with decent hands. Like, he can box. Is he pro level? Probably not. But Tyson's 60 years old, you know? Your chin goes, your power goes, everything freaking goes, you know? Specifically your chin, more than anything, right? Yeah, it's just I'm nervous for him, right? Honestly, and I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with John Jones too, right? Like, John Jones basically is running from Tom Aspinall, right? Like, everybody knows if John Jones fights Alex Pereira, a freaking middleweight. Pereira's a middleweight, right? He's a middleweight with no grappling experience, no wrestling experience. Right? Like, Jones sees Tom Aspinall like a crazy KO artist with great wrestling, same size as Jones, and he knows Aspinall poses problems for him, 100%. And so instead, Jones literally doesn't want to fight for the belt, and he wants to skip everybody else and just fight Alex Pereira, somebody he knows he's going to take down and submit in 30 seconds, right? And he's trying to act like it's the better fight or the riskier fight, and everybody knows it and calls him out on it. And again, I think Jones is the greatest of all time, right? But I don't think this is a good look at the end of his career. I think he looks like he's hiding from Tom Aspinall, unfortunately. And so that's this weekend. We'll see what happens, but yeah. Oh, 100% Sam. And Jones knows it. And so I gotta lose a little bit of respect for Jones. And I think Jones is at least the greatest middleweight of all time. I'm arguing about somebody in this right now, right? So this is an argument somebody's literally having with me on social media. And I'm not one to argue on social media. But some person said, quote, Jones is his biggest moneymaker over the years, talking about Dana White. Jones is his biggest moneymaker over the years and has made Dana a lot of money. He owes Dana nothing. My response to him, I thought that was a ridiculous claim, right? A ridiculous claim. I said, Jones is not even in the top 5 of moneymakers ever in the UFC. His pay-per-view numbers aren't good. He's the light heavyweight GOAT and maybe the greatest of all time. But he knows Alex Pereira is a gimme fight for him, and Tom will actually give him a run and give him some problems. And so he's avoiding that fight. And then this guy responded with, false. Only Conor, Ronda, and Khabib have sold more than Jones. Jones versus Gane sold 700K. Alex P sells 500K, and that was only because he took Conor's spot. And I told him, I said, you're wrong. There's legitimately a full page of UFC cards and pay-per-view numbers. So many fighters. Jones is way down there. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, but he doesn't come close to a top pay-per-view selling fighter. He just doesn't. He's never broken 900,000. And I listed the page for him. I said, here's page 2 of the highest pay-per-view sales in the UFC. Jones ain't even on the page. And he said, Conor and Ronda, that's it. And I said, you're even wrong there. Conor, Ronda Rousey, Anderson Silva, Brock Lesnar, GSP have all consistently beat Jones in pay-per-view buys over the last 20 years. Jones has never broken 900K ever. But my point is, I like Jones, and I think people like Jones. But yeah, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but still. Jones shouldn't run from Aspinall. He should either just retire. I'd be okay with him fighting Stipe and then retiring. But, you know, he's trying to take the gimme fight. Nobody wants to see that. It's not going to be fixed for Paul to win. Yeah, join our Discord, guys. Join our Discord. We can talk about all this in our Discord live, as we do. All right, guys. NASDAQ at 20.84s. The Dow is down here, Chad. We're going to start day trading a little bit leading up to retail sales data. We do have retail sales data coming out today. Yeah, we're going to get ready to day trade live like we always do here. Again, the NASDAQ is down pretty substantially, but we're kind of flat and choppy right here. So we're kind of flat and choppy. I will put this up here. I got to get my Top Step banner. I got to figure out how to put that up because we are trading on Top Step today. So we're right at that 200 exponential here. I don't mind shorting this. We got to take micro contracts though. Yeah. So I don't mind shorting this pop up to the 200 EMA, micro contracts, 3 contracts here. We got our nice little entry. If you guys heard that candle wick entry pattern that I talked about earlier, there we go. All right, so we're gonna cut it. Look, here's a big up wick here. Part of me wants to buy that dip. Oh, and I missed it. Look, so if you saw the big candle wick there, it would have worked. This one, and again, it's not gonna work every time, right? Like you are gonna get movements like this where we have a huge big candle. But the logic of my entries there, like in this case, I would go short, to be honest. But in this one, I would have lost money on. But the logic of why I enter here is because how often do you see these huge big candles? Like most of the time, they don't go out like this. Not unless it's followed by 2, which means if it follows by 2, it means it filled the gap already. It's hard to explain, but if you see a big doji candle, I would say maybe 1 out of 4 end up actually looking like this or looking like this and without filling the gap, right? And that's 1 out of 4 without even including the gap fill. If you talk about times it filled the gap, look, this one filled it at least 50%. This one filled it at least 50%. And so the amount of times that it either completely retraces and closes in a different look than the doji, than the big up wick or down wick candle, or the amount of times it following fills at least 50% of the gap is pretty high. And so it's probably a bad risk reward setup, but the accuracy on it, I think, is very, very high, very, very high. And so it's hard to explain, but I also think it needs to be in volatile moments too. So I think you need volatility from it, but we just made a little bit scalp in the beginning. Yeah, I'm trying to find, let's see, reports, offers, account. All right, so we did get a, Alright, so a big pop up here. We're gonna wait. And the Dow is down. The Nasdaq is down. Let me check to see everybody arguing with me about Jones. I'm sure. Watch out for GameStop technical analysis. Looks spicy. Yeah, I love it and agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know Coffee. Coffee says at this age they probably go after the bag, and that's probably Alex. I promise you, I think Aspinall versus Jones would be way bigger than Pereira versus Jones. Like, MMA fighters are not dumb, at least not all of them, right? Most people know Jones is going to run through Pereira, right? Like, this is objectively true. Jones, good striker, but his wrestling is what would do it. If you saw Cyril Gane versus Jones, that's exactly how the Pereira fight would turn out, except Cyril is noticeably bigger than Alex P. Like, Alex P's a middleweight, you know, so asking Alex P to move up to heavyweight and fight somebody that's just way larger, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Oh, yeah, let me get a timer up here, chat. Let me get a timer up. We got about an hour left. We got about an hour. 1 hour here, guys. This timer's a little bit late. Let me fix it. So we're gonna do 58 and like 40. I think we'll probably do it. No, still too late. 58 and 15. There we go. All right, so here's our timer, chat. Here's our timer. I'm gonna start buying this dip right here. We're gonna buy this dip. We're gonna add to it potentially here if we can. We got 6 contracts. It's a big drop though, so we got to be very ready to cut this if it keeps falling, in all honesty. We're gonna cut half of that here and just take the loss real quick. We're kind of flat on the day now, but I just think it was way too risky there. I'm not gonna add any more mess with this anymore. Yeah, they need to retire. I mean, I hope so, Rob, but I doubt it's going to happen, brother. I think it's much more probable that Jake Paul beats up Mike. And I'm kind of bummed out. The good news is that regardless of whether Jake Paul wins, which he almost certainly will, Tyson's going to make some money, you know, and that's good for him. Let him make his money. I'm okay. He's had a good run at, you know, fighting. And so let him make his money, man. I'm okay with it. All right, there we go. We're going to start unloading here. Kind of a flat trade now, but we'll see if we get a better entry. We'll get out flat. Almost exactly flat. What do you think of Intel? I think Intel's risky and on its way out. All right. We got 4 contracts. We're trying to take larger size here in micro contracts here. So we are trying to take larger size as we trade. We're going to start using 3 to 4 contracts as our base position and then maybe add some micros into it. There we go. Beautiful here. All right. We'll take that off. All right, cool. Just made some more. Alex fighting for that triple crown. Yeah, but again, I just think it's frustrating because, and Tom Aspinall said the same thing. And again, I'm a big, like, I pump Jones up. Like, I think Jones is the greatest of all time. I think he's past his prime now, and he should just retire on top after he beats Stipe, though, if he wants to cement his legacy as the greatest. You know, but I think if he tries to take a fight with Pereira, MMA fighters aren't dumb, right? Like, everybody knows Jones is just going to take him down and submit him. It's just not, nobody really wants that fight. Nobody's really asking for that fight. Except for Jones, because Jones knows it's a gimme fight. It's like, I guess, like, if you want to call yourself the greatest of all time, you can't. For the last 3 years, Jones has only selected fighters that he knew he was going to beat, right? Cyril Gane, no takedown defense. Jones takes him down, taps him out. Same exact thing would happen to Alex Pereira. Aside from the fact that Jones is much larger than Alex P. Bitcoin now dipping down a little bit. It's at 90. It's about 89, high 89s right now for Bitcoin. Yeah, no, it's all good. All right, so we got one contract here. We might add to this. See if we get this gap fill like we look for. Flat now. Try to be patient here. Right, we got 5 contracts. Again, we're trying to play larger size. Get used to it at least. Kind of going back and forth, but it's definitely not what we want. Very quick drop. I'm gonna have to cut this very soon here. I think we might start breaking down faster. We'll get out. So we're down on the day now after that trade. We went big and we lost. It wasn't big. We lost like 40 bucks, 50 bucks. Could be worse, to be honest. There's a new Yahoo Mail. Now there's AI helping. Interesting. Wow, weird. Okay, go away. There we go. Palantir goes NASDAQ today. Is it already on the S&P? I don't know if you answered this or not, but thoughts on the Powell speech. I thought Powell was much more hawkish than a lot of people expected him to be. Much less all right, so we're gonna take some size now. Much less likely to cut rates aggressively is what I think. I think Powell will be much less likely to cut rates aggressively. All right, so we got a big pop. Let's see if we fill some of this gap that we're looking for. We're up there. We just need a better entry or a better exit. But yeah, Powell much more hawkish, much more restrictive. Much less likely that we cut rates aggressively, and so I'm curious to see what we do next meeting is what I want to see. I want to see what we do next meeting. Bad fill there. We took profit off in profit, but there we go. Still bad fills, but that's okay. We got the gap fill that we were looking for originally. We just didn't. For whatever reason, it gave us a pretty bad fill. We got 2 contracts left. But yeah, I think Powell's going to be a lot more restrictive. There we go. Again, same thing. We got the... yeah, so we're out. So we got the... we got a hawkish Powell in the meeting. So I'm curious to see what they do for the next Fed meeting. When we look at the probabilities, it's about 60-40 right now. In terms of like what Powell decides to do. We're about 60-40 for the next Fed meeting. 60% likelihood that we're going to cut 25% chance, or about 40% chance we're going to pause again. Or do another pause, yeah. And again, we got retail sales data coming out at 0.3%. Let me know if you like the new layout as opposed to yesterday. It should be much better. So we updated the layout and gave it a more professional look with the floating head. And y'all might think the floating head is weird, but honestly, I can break a lot of stuff down here. So like the reason I got into that last trade was because here we had this big upwick candle, like a big upwick candle. And like we had a big upwick and then it completely went down and then it rebounded back up. And so we ended up buying it. We've been using these a lot because like if you look at this candle here as an example, right? Like this big downwick right here. This big downwick right here. These don't happen very often. These only happen about 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3. And so if you see this big downwick, it's actually much more probable that we're going to move back down and fill that downwick at least 50%, which is what it did. Now it's a scalping strategy, so you have to be very quick with it. And if it ends up closing like this, it's less likely. So if it actually ends up closing in this full pattern, it's less likely. But if you can catch the candle as it's moving when it looks like this, it's much more probable that it's going to move back up, and it's not going to look like this when it closes. So when it closes like this, that's my signal to, you know, take a different trade. But you have to, it's very nuanced, but that's been working a lot for me yesterday. We made some money in one of our accounts yesterday on that specific system. So you can use Top Step with TradingView, Safa. I'm pretty sure you can use it, but you have to sign up for it in that way. I would recommend Top Step X for most people though. If you're going to try Top Step, I would do Top Step X just because there's no commissions, and you can kind of see my fees are only 74 cents per trade. So I can take these small little scalps and actually make money because the fees, like look at the fees right here. The fees are only 74 cents per trade on micro contracts. That's a tiny amount. So I can make $5, $5, $4 and still actually net profit on that trade. So I could scalp better on Top Step X in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. It's just strange without a hat. Yeah, I told you guys I got super curly hair, bro. So like when I wake up in the morning, my hair is crazy. I have very curly hair, All right, market's kind of flat though, sideways, neutral. Hit the like button, guys. Can we hit 400 likes today? Can we hit 400 likes? What's a $1,000 move, Bao? Explain what a $1,000 move is for me, please. I'm curious to know. All right, so we did have some more news dropping out. Taiwan Semiconductor secures CHIP Act funding for 3 Arizona plants. And so TSM, a company integral in modern chip making, is getting up to 6.6 billion in chips. 6.6 billion in chips Act funding, the U.S. Commerce Department said today. So they'll also be eligible maybe up to 5 billion in loans as well. So TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors, look at their charts. They've had a rough time since the CHIP Act was announced. Basically, the CHIP Act means that the U.S. is going to be a little bit more strict importing and exporting chips from what they consider competitive countries. I'm pretty sure that's the CHIP Act, right? The Chips and Science Act is a U.S. federal statute enacted on the 117th U.S. Congress and signed into law. Hold on, let me see. Is it the Chips Act or the CHIP Act? Let me see. Chips, C-H-I-P-S. It includes almost 40 billion in subsidies for chip manufacturers on U.S. soil, along with a 25% investment and tax credit for cost of manufacturing equipment. I like this deal. I think it's good. It rewards chip companies that are here, and I think that's good. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. Top Step X moves faster. Plus or minus 0.3% on the NASDAQ. I mean, listen, Bao, again, I'm asking you to explain it because you're calling it a $1,000 move. And so 0.3% on the NASDAQ. I'm not sure how that's $1,000 move. Like, listen, anybody can take super large size and make a bunch of money, right? Like, it doesn't mean you should. And again, I think you still have a gambler's mentality in trading, brother, right? Like, there's different ways to do it. Like, you don't have to make a lot on each trade. And in fact, the more money you make on each trade, the more risk that you have on each trade. And so I get it. You might see people who are making like $1,000 a trade and all that good stuff. And that might kind of enamor you into, ooh, I need to make $1,000 per trade. In order to make $1,000 per trade, you should have at least $500 to $1 million in account balance, right? Liquid. Because if you don't, like, I know they put it out there that you're going to be able to make these ridiculous. Man, sorry guys, we're back. I don't know what's going on, bro. My internet is just terrible. I don't know if I should use StreamYard. I could probably switch to StreamYard. But man, dude, my internet has just not been good this week, dude. And again, I pay so much money for it. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating. So we guys good? Can y'all hear me, see me? You should be able to hear and see me. Everything should be good and we should be back to normal. No, we're back. Everything's fine. Yeah, we're back. No, it went out for me too because it gave me the notification that we glitched out and now we're back. It's just strange, bro. Honestly, like, we've had so much lag this week. You know, I don't know if it's my OBS settings. I could probably go to StreamYard, I think, and manage it, but it's all good. We'll keep the OBS up. We still got 400 people here now. Yeah. Well, it's not that, like, everything's done. I'm going to exit out of some stuff just to give my computer some room with OBS, but it should be working fine. Yeah, it should be working fine. It's just kind of odd, you know. Like, I would rather it happen now than freaking 8:30 like it did the last few days. I'll get it fixed over the weekend. So it happened to the other videos too. Yeah, so it's not just me. I think it could be YouTube. Let me see what my bit rate is. Stream. Honestly, my stream should be pretty good. So we should be fine. We still got over 400 people here, and we still have 40 minutes until retail sales data, so it's all good. We can't expect no lag, so if it does lag like that, just stick around. We'll bring it back up. We got almost 70 likes. Can we break 100 likes soon? Chat, can we break 100 likes soon? It might just be some updates YouTube is doing, to be honest. But yeah, what I was saying about is that, you know, it seems like a gambling mentality, brother. Like having this number like, oh, I need to make $1,000 a trade is toxic. Like, you should only be trying to make that $1,000 per trade. You know, again, I get it. They put out all these wild expectations, but it's just not the most probable thing for anybody to do. And I think if you get it in your head that you have to make $1,000 per trade, like, it's a little bit of confirmation bias. You know, so like, I want to believe I can take a $10,000 account and make $1,000 per trade and make 10% a trade, right? That's a really pleasant thought. I want to believe that I can do that. Of course, everybody does. But it doesn't mean I can do that. And it doesn't mean it's easy to do that. And it doesn't mean like you should do that. So I hope all of that makes sense. Like, you got to understand what's actually reasonable in trading and what's not. And $1,000 a trade, you might be able to make it, but what kind of risk are you taking to do that? You know? Yeah, you know, you should never be buying, like, especially with contracts, especially with regular E-mini contracts. Nobody here needs to buy over 3 or 4 E-mini contracts in anything ever. That's crazy big size. That's crazy big size. John, you are number 3 of all 1K traders. Definitely top 3-ish, you know. If swing trading for weeks, that's very common. Well, sure, if you're swing trading a big account, sure. But really, I'm talking about more so, right, really, I'm talking more so about like day trading, short-term scalping. Crypto's different right now for sure. Crypto's just different, guys. Hey, y'all hit that like button, chat. We're getting close to 100 likes. We'll get there. All right, we're gonna take some trades now. Let's see if we can get something good here. I'm gonna short this. We're leading into retail sales data and Empire State data, so I will take some size. I didn't really get a bigger size like I should have here, but that's okay. I should have taken larger size. That's all right. We got 5 contracts now. Let's see if we fill the gap down a little bit. Let me exit out of some other stuff too. We'll take up to 8 contracts here. We'll take 4. All right, so we're starting to flush. Let's see if we continue down. All right, so we're gonna have to cut this pretty soon. We're getting a turn against me. We've been going back and forth. We've been making some, losing some, making some, losing some. So yeah, we're just probably gonna unload the whole thing up here if we need to. We are edging closer to those highs up there. I want to give it one more second to see if we can retrace back down, but I think this is actually gonna go up here. All right, so I'm gonna limit some of my size now that we're up here. 5 contracts now because we broke all the way back down. So we're only down $20 on this trade. Could be worse now. We were down like 50, 60, 70 at one point. And yeah, we thought it would go up and it did. Look at that. So maybe should have taken my opportunity to cut it. So now we lost probably like 60 bucks. Yeah, it's all right. Trading against the trend here, and we're honestly starting to go up pretty big. Yeah, I mean, you can use actual hard stops, chat, but in some ways it's just completely unnecessary, right? Like, you can use hard stops. If it's really short-term trades, it takes me longer to get in, set a stop loss, do all that, than it takes me to get out half the time. So, it really just depends on what you're doing. All right, so we did a poll here. We asked people, are you bullish or bearish on the retail sales data? 59% say bullish, 41% say bearish. We still got 40 minutes left. 40 minutes left. So this is usually where I'd buy it up, but I'm less confident in this one now. Got to watch NVIDIA and the NASDAQ here. So here's an NQ. We'll put NVIDIA up on the bottom, chat. NVIDIA slowed down dramatically too. Alright, so we're at 90.5s. Are we gonna hit? Alright, we got 85 likes, guys. We just need one little run to break 100. We need 15 of you guys out of 400 and something here. I mean, do it now. I would never pressure you to, but I'll hate you forever if you don't. But all right, guys, so we got this bull flag here. Again, I want to bring attention to something, and this is something that I probably should have taken into consideration with my trade here. Yeah, there's the breakdown. I could have made money on my short, but it's all good. Look at that breakdown. You got to watch the 200 EMA. The 200 exponential average right here is a powerful level, right? Like on a 1 minute chart specifically, this thing influences price so much. Like look at the bounce right here. There's another bounce off it right there. Like look at all the confirmations on a 1 minute chart regarding the 200 exponential. So there's just a lot of good spots for it. If I zoom out on this chart here, right, like you can kind of see how much, not only does it respect this 200 exponential, I use it kind of like I use the VWAP, right? Like you can see when we're below the 200 EMA right here, we have like this downward trend, right? We got this downward trend. Once we actually fight our way above it, like if I ease closer here, you can kind of see when we finally break above the 200 exponential right here, we start to upward trend. And then afterwards, we actually hold one confirmation here and then one confirmation here as well, right? And so it kind of indicates a trend change where we break over the 200 EMA and then we trade this trend. And that's probably the trend I should have been attacking here. And I think if we can draw this trend out, it might be a little bit more clear. But yeah, the 200 exponential, the overarching point I'm making here is you should be watching the 200 exponential. It's a really easy level to watch and trade. So yeah, and this is the trend that we have right now. But you can kind of see the really firm break of the 200 exponential. So you can kind of see us really rip over it here and like make that big push up. It's just a good level to watch. You should be watching. There's a couple of milestone levels that I specifically always pay attention to. One of them is the 200 exponential. The other one is the volume weighted average price. Another one is the previous closing price, right? Like those 3 or 4 levels are incredibly relevant. But yeah, here's the short-term trend we have in the NASDAQ right now. So that's the short-term trend. We'll see if we continue back up. BABA earnings are out. BABA mixed results. BDPS missed revenue is what happened with BABA. Their BDPS missed rev. After market close news for Palantir. You mean yesterday after market close? Bitcoin made a run though. It got up to almost 90K, or right or over 90K. Again, retail sales expected at 0.3% today. Chat, 0.3. Yeah, y'all be sure to go check out Beach Bum's channel. Saturday and Sundays, 10 a.m. Go give that man a subscribe. He's been producing pretty good content for years now. Y'all go give him a subscribe. Great channel. By the way, chat, give Beach Bum a subscribe. There he is in chat right now. Alright, guys. So, again, you can kind of see the NASDAQ here trying to fight its way back over 861s. Still in that upward trend. Nvidia's flat, sideways, choppy, boring, neutral. Do you think journaling is helpful, and any plans on modifying anything with your strategy for 2025? Honestly, I've been kind of testing strategies for a minute now. I'm definitely going to be more trend trading. I looked for a lot of reversals this past year. This upcoming year, I'm definitely going to be looking for more trends, trend trading. I'm going to be trading larger size for sure in the next year, as well as like I'm going to look for that. I'm going to try to fix up that isolated candle wick strategy to see if I can get some edge with it. I'm a tester. Like to be honest, I told people this all the time. My best trades are swing trades. So I'm definitely going to be swing trading a lot. I'm green on the year with my investments in swing trading and on TOS this year. So I'm just going to try to continue that. Day trading, I'm still tweaking some stuff, but like I'm going to build on that candle wick strategy. Going to be a lot of algorithmic stuff that I'm using in the next year as well that we'll give you some updates on. I think I showed you guys this the other day, but like, look, like we have some indicator systems here that are pretty solid. Like I've seen them work on individual stocks a little bit better. Like this one was wrong, this one was right, but look, this one was really right. Big breakdown here. Let's see if we can keep looking. Honestly, what I found they work the best on is individual blue chip stocks. I don't know why, but like, look, this one literally called the exact bottom candle here. Look at that. Boom. Nice little bounce. So that's 2 for 1. That failed. 3 for 1. Look at that. Literally calls the exact top. Beautiful breakdown. Literally calls the exact bottom. So that's 2 for 1, 3 for 1, 4 for 1. That's 80% right now. 80%. This one didn't work. So bump it down a little bit. This one worked. Look at it. Called the exact bottom. This one worked. It called the top. This one, I don't know if I would. I guess it worked, but it's up in the air. I'll just skip it. This one worked. And you can kind of see, like, when you take it all into consideration here. Look at this, calls the bottom. Like, it can be pretty powerful. I'm still building on it though, and we have some updated ones on TradingView that are actually better than this. Look at that, literally called the exact top again. And so we've got some of the, I would say this is like 7 out of 10 at least over the last couple trades. But I'll have to keep testing it. And I also have one, I have a couple. I have the 1 minute monster, I have a 5 minute monster. We've got a bunch of different ones that we play with and look at. I don't honestly base my trades around them very much though, which mostly has to do with, like, I'm just busy doing other stuff. But I'm gonna build a system around watching it. I know I can set alerts on TradingView. I just have to get myself like maybe like a dedicated station for alerts. Hammer and inverted hammer patterns are okay. I don't think, like, the problem with hammer candles is that, you know, they're just hard to gauge, and I think there's a lot of fake outs that happen with hammer candles. I think candles that work better than hammers are engulfing candles. Engulfing candles much more powerful in my opinion than hammer candles personally. Now I do have the candle wick system that I talked about, that we're looking for candles that just opened that look like this, right? If we find one with a huge wick like this, like the way it'll happen, guys, is like this. Like, let me show you. So the way it'll happen, it's a big candle. So you'll see sometimes where you'll have this candle and you'll have a big candle wick like this form. It's not the same size to this, right? It's never going to be this big, but just to put it on the actual chart, it might look something like this, right? In this situation, it's very probable for it to retrace back down. Right, so in this situation, like, we're just going to draw it big again. In this situation, it's very probable for it to at least retrace back down, especially if it hasn't closed yet. If it's about to close, and if we get another candle that opens up here, it works less, but it does work, and you just got to be selective with it, but it does work. All right, guys, we got 30 minutes left. 30 minutes. Cardano is pumping. Yeah, you know. Yeah, almost all day traders lose money. That's why Top Step is so valuable and useful, because almost all day traders lose. And if you try to day trade, you're probably going to lose. That's why Top Step makes sense, because it just limits risk. It allows you to day trade, short, buy market, sell market, all that good stuff. Day trade indexes, which are made up of stocks. No PDT rule, you can day trade short, all that good stuff. But if you fail, instead of, like, most day traders, the pattern goes like this. They day trade, they fund their account thousands of dollars, maybe it's 1K, maybe it's 30K. Eventually they lose the whole account. They get frustrated, they give up. Sometimes they get the itch to come back and they try it again. Sometimes they buy a course or a mentor sells them on nonsense and they end up thinking they're going to get rich, and then they just end up losing money, right? Top Step gives you a good middle ground for that. It's a good middle ground. You're still risking something. You're not risking thousands of dollars like most new day traders do. If you fail, you're only out 49 bucks each one. If you pass it, you get 50K in funding with a 90% split, which is similar to funding your own account. And again, in futures is very similar to day trading stocks as well. It just makes sense, right? People hate on some of these, but like Top Step's the most legit in the world. They've paid out over 100 million over the last few years, I think. So they just one of the most legit. If you want to check them out, here's the link. They are. I'm biased, of course, guys. They pay me money. I am biased. Remember, I am terrible and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Maybe wildly wrong about anything I say here. It's for entertainment only, and my experiences, wins or losses, may be conducted in real time or off stream. You might not see me trade, guys. I might trade off stream. I got a bunch of monitors here. You're not going to see everything I do. Do not copy me. Not liable if you do. Understand the implications of CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance. Have limitations, guys. Now, with that said, market's still in this trend. We'll see if it breaks. Retail sales data coming out soon at 8:30, guys. It's coming out soon. Be ready. Yeah, it's 49 bucks. It's 49 bucks a month for the base one on Top Step. It's the 50K challenge is what it's called. All right, guys, it's Friday. We ain't got no job and we ain't got ish to do but day trade stocks. We'll see if we get anything good this morning. Next week we have Nvidia earnings, guys. Nvidia earnings, kind of the Super Bowl of the stock market. Yeah, I mean, I kind of do a similar thing. I see Joseph say I day trade a position that I want to hold, so I sell when the price is high and buy back after the price drops. What I do with my swing trades is I'll wait for big dips on earnings reports. So I'll wait for big dips on earnings reports. If I get a big dip on an earning report where a good company that has like mixed results or decent results, but still for whatever reason ends up dropping big percentages, I almost always buy the dip as long as it's like a good, healthy blue chip company. Like if it's a blue chip healthy company, I'm almost always buying that dip and attacking that dip. Because the logic of the trade is that if it goes against me long term, or if it goes against me short term, it's almost always going to go in my favor long term. And so I'm kind of accumulating blue chip investment stocks. But if it goes in my favor short term, I'll take some profit and then add back on pullbacks. And so this is kind of like a mix between swing trading and investing, where if I'm wrong, I can sit on it long term and just continue to hold it, make dividends from some of them. You know, some of them, you know, most of them are going to go up long term because they're blue chip healthy companies. But what it'll do most of the time, I would say 80% of the time, it ends up bouncing back over the next 3 weeks and I end up having a really nice profitable trade. That happens a lot too. All right, so we got about 500 people here right now, chat. We got about 500 people here. We got over 100 likes, so thanks so much. Again, Applied Materials. Nvidia has a stake in APLD. They have an actual stake in Applied Materials here. So, again, we got retail sales data. We'll see if this affects the market in any significant way. We got Nvidia down here. We got the NASDAQ up there. We'll put the SPY up here. Like, here's Tesla maybe. Like, so there's Tesla at 312. Tesla's slightly green. We got Nvidia on the bottom. It's at 146s. I wonder when Nvidia is going to break 150. Yeah, we still got about 25 minutes left. Really want a top step account, yeah. Again, 0.3% is what retail sales are expected today. We also have the Empire State Manufacturing data. So Empire State Manufacturing drops today also. So again, Empire State Manufacturing data. Wait. Do we have? Yeah, we got Empire State Manufacturing data. It's expected at 0%. 0%. So we're gonna cover all of this live as it drops. All of this live as it drops. But again, now we're testing that 200 EMA. What I wonder here, guys, so again, like just to show you guys this, now we're testing the 200 EMA. You know, so like right here, we have the 200 exponential, right? That light blue line right around here is the 200 exponential. Let me fix this. So you can kind of see this light blue line, this 200 exponential moving average right here. The question is now, what does the NASDAQ do? Does it bounce at the 200 EMA, which I think a lot of people are going to look at? The way I would honestly look at this, because we have retail sales data, it's something that I think is possible for us to happen here, is like, I think it's possible that like we start downtrending in this area right here. So I can even like draw it with my finger. I think we can downtrend down here. I think if we break underneath this trend line right here, as well as the 200 EMA right here, we might downtrend, you know, we might like downtrend in this area, you know, and all that stuff. I think that's possible. And so, because I think we're already in an upward trend, so I think we're either going to move sideways like this, or we're going to break the trend and then start to kind of downtrend down. I don't think we're necessarily going to go up here, although it depends on what blue chip stocks do, because this is the index funds. And so if Nvidia starts to run, it's possible we go up. If Apple and Amazon start to run, it's definitely possible we go up. But we got to wait and see. Again, the timer is right here in the corner. You know, you can see the timer right there. We got 20 plus minutes left still. And I don't know what you guys think. What do you guys think is going to happen here? Do you guys think we go up, down, or sideways moving forward right now? Up, down, or sideways? GameStop? GameStop is squeezing up a little bit. I'm curious to see what happens in the next week, especially with Nvidia earnings coming out. Right, Nvidia earnings are dropping soon, next Wednesday. And so I wonder if GameStop's going to run up. Again, remember, guys, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. You always got to make your own assessment, trade responsibly here, guys. Not an investment professional. All right, so there's the breakdown. Again, I thought we might break, and again, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I thought we might break down, honestly. All right, Chad, look at the break. We're coming down. Yeah, I think a lot of people predicted these pullbacks, in all honesty here, man. I think a lot of people predicted this. We got a little pop-up. My computer sounds like a rocket ship. I'm gonna have to exit out of some of this stuff here. Hold on, let me get out of some of this stuff. Put just one chart up. Take some of this away. Exit out of that. Cover this. All right, guys. Not sure. Down into retail. Yeah, so we'll see. Again, it's 20 minutes left. 20 minutes left. Again, it's retail sales is not the biggest economic report, but it's something. Like, it's something, and you know, it could make the market move big. It could also be kind of quiet. We'll see. Hey, John, do you think it'll keep going down today? I have no idea what we're gonna do. I really don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna bet that we are. I'm gonna short. And we're gonna scale into maybe a 5 to 10 contract position here. We're trying to trade larger, and just even if like we lose on this account, we're just trying to get used to larger size, in all honesty. So we got 6 contracts here. 6. Again, there's 9, and we'll take up to 10. Obviously not what we wanted here, but I like 10 contracts because we can cut it pretty easily if we want to. Looks strong though, to be honest. There we go. All right. There we go. That's what we wanted. We scaled out of most of it. We got 4 contracts left. Kind of retrace back up. There we go. Take some more off here. Hey, when you're right, you're right. Hold 1 contract left to let it work. Didn't end up making much. But we'll add to this too. Take 2 contracts here. I want to see if we break underneath this 200 exponential here. So we're going to take 4 contracts. We're trading off the profit we already made on the trade. So we already made some profit on the trade. I'm going to bet that we're going to break this. I might be wrong too. So so we just locked in some more. We took half of it off. We're up about 30, 40 bucks on the trade now. More than that, about $50 now on the trade. We'll go ahead and cut it. All right, so we just made about 50 bucks there. Not bad. We'll take it. We were correct. We still got 15 minutes before Empire State data, or before retail sales data drops. Again, I feel like this trend might break, but I really don't know for sure. It's just kind of an intuition. Could be a large move. If it always comes back to the moving average line, would that be a strategy? It doesn't always come back to it, Michael. And so you have to understand, Michael, that the moving average changes. So the moving average line changes. And so it might look like it always comes back to it, but that's the point of it. It's an average. Right? It's an average. And so what I mean by that is, like, if this is the moving average and the stock price starts to go higher like this, right? What this is going to do is this is going to curve upward and follow the price action up, right? And so if you short here, you know, if you short here wanting it to come back down to this level, the level's just going to curve up and you're going to lose. And so I hope that makes sense. It's more so about trend identification and prediction is what it is. So you got to just be able to predict the trends. Isn't Ortex like sketchy binary options? Again, binary options are scams. In my opinion, they are. Why? Because the risk reward is consistently lower. Actually, Ortex might be good. I don't know about it. Maybe I'm wrong about Ortex. I don't know. Never used it. But yeah, I think I'm thinking of something else. Also, y'all hit that subscribe button, guys. Help me get close. We are getting very close to 150,000 subscribers. We're getting so close to 150K, chat. And so if you have not already subscribed, hit the notification bell. Help me get up to 150,000. We're almost there. We'll hit it next week for NVIDIA earnings at the very least, but I would love to hit more than that. Wait, where's the rest of my videos? Okay. All right, so there's the breakdown. And again, I called this breakdown. Maybe I should have held like one contract here. You know, again, remember what I said was like a lot of the time what happens with markets, if you think about the general flow of a stock price or of a price, if you think about the general flow of a price, what does it look like? It looks kind of like this, right? We'll go one way for a little while, then we start trending another way for a little while, then we go back and start trending another way for a little while, and then we might make a big move up, and then we might make another move up, and then we make another move down, right? So there's a little flow to it. It's kind of like a stair step pattern, you know. That's basically what I bet on here with this, was that like we've made this, now we've done this. Now the next logical step would be this for at least a little bit, right? And what we can look at is a break of structure. So we have this structure right here. And we can look for a break of structure now, which is kind of what I was saying. And again, here's the break of structure happening right now. So here's the break of this trend. Now, just to clarify, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to downward trend. We can break the structure and go sideways. So we can break the structure of this trend here and go completely sideways as well. That's a possibility too. I don't know which way we're gonna go. Nobody freaking does. We're all just guessing here. But you have to look at what's objective, like objectively looking at the chart. You have to think about what's logical, what's probable, you know, what's possible. You gotta give different theses, put different theses out about stuff. Miss or beat or miss retail? John, are you the ghost of Christmas past? I'm John, the Wizard of Stonks, sir. Well, the binary options are sketchy because you consistently get worse than one-to-one risk reward, right? So like the binary options will sell you on, oh, look how simple it is. Look how simple they are, guys. They're so simple. Look at how simple binary options are. The reality of it is it'll be like, hey, if you're right about where does this close over or under $100 a share? If you're right, or if you're wrong, you lose $100. If you're right, you make $85 or something like that. And so it's consistently worse than one-to-one reward to risk. And you're gonna have a better option, either just directly buying shares, directly buying futures, directly buying options. And that's what they're profiting from. They're profiting that spread difference. And so that's what they want. They want you to sign up and lose, you know. I don't know, Sam. How we feel about gold? Gold's breaking down. Yeah, most binary places are. It was a lot busier whenever I first got started with stuff, right? So like I saw a lot more binary option places when I first got started. All right, so there's the breakdown of the trend. You know, we've started to do much better in our trading over the past like week. We kind of tweaked some strategies that we've been using. And it's been much better. Will we get a Santa rally this year? I really don't know. I think we've already rallied. Generally speaking, right? Santa rallies happen in periods like this where we're downtrending on a longer term basis, right? Like maybe the year looks like this, right? And we start to downtrend in like the late summer, early fall months. And then we get a Santa rally and we start to just pop, right? The problem with the market now is that the market's already looking like this, you know? So getting a Santa rally, we're already up a ton. And so I wouldn't hold my breath for it, if that makes sense. I wouldn't, you know, I think it's possible we don't get one this year just because we're up so much already. We've had so much volatility from the election and everything like that. And with that said, guys, look at the breakup structure. So we talked about this. We literally called this. I should have shorted more. But we absolutely nailed this spot. We were absolutely correct about it. We called this down to the T. Exactly what would happen happened. And we told you guys we'd probably break the trend, break under the 200 EMA, fall down here, and that's precisely what happened. I gotta give myself my wins sometimes. Because people will be like, oh, John doesn't know, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, we called this here. You know, again, we got the 200 EMA. At a certain point, you also have to look at it like this, right? Trends don't last forever. And so if we've already been trending for a long period of time here, like if we've already been trending for a significant period of time, that trend's not going to last forever. Eventually, we're going to have to break the structure of the trend, right? Eventually, we have to break the structure of the trend. And so one of the signs is that we had a double top on the NASDAQ. I saw somebody else talk about this. We had a double top on the NASDAQ. You can see one of the tops here, right here, and then you can see the other top right here. So a parallel double top. Instead of higher highs, we got a double top. We got even highs. That signals the downfall of this as well. It's another reason that I called it. But we have broken the structure of the trend. You know, what do I mean by break of structure? I mean, we've been trending really well, and we finally broke down underneath it here. It doesn't mean we're going to continue in any direction. Again, we might go sideways now. I have no idea, and that really depends on what happens with regards to the retail sales data. So I hope that makes sense, right? Cardano up big. All right, guys, so we got almost 700 people watching today. Thanks so much. I'm going to put this thing in sub-only mode as well. So if you have not already, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We already are in sub-only mode. Are we in sub-only mode? Can you chat if you're not subscribed? I guess not. Sorry, chat. We already did it. Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla here. Now, I will go long if we break right above this trend line. If we break all the way back above this trend line, I will go long again. But I also think that is possible. Again, you got to understand. What happens is we get a trend, right? We get a break of structure. And then sometimes we go like this, sideways for a little while. And then we start trending in a specific direction like that, right? So we'll have this period of time where we might get sideways neutral activity or kind of just big unpredictable direction first before we confirm another trend, right? Like if you look at history of charts, that's what it shows a lot of the time. And so it's hard to tell. Now we could also just start downtrending here. Especially if we reject this trend line right here where the trend line was, that can hold some resistance, which it seems to be now. Okay, yeah, so we're already in sub-only mode. Wizard of Oz, gotta love it. All right, so we are breaking down here. We did hold this trend line as resistance. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, look. So we held this trend line as resistance now. Man, we called this trend break, though. And again, what I mean by that is, like, trends don't last forever. So if we already have, like, a trend that's been following, like, this trend's been here since early this morning. Eventually we're going to crack that trend. And so if something's too obvious in markets, I say I'm skeptical of it. So like a bounce here is too obvious, right? The trend's been going on for too long. We might potentially start trending in different ways from retail sales. And so, there's a lot of things. We had this double top. Instead of putting in a higher low, like here's a high, here's a higher high. In theory, we should have done a higher high there. Instead of doing that, we instead put in a double top neutral high. So instead of a higher high like this, we only ended up putting in a neutral high. So high, double top here, predicted the downfall too. There's a lot of signals from it that helped me like call this correctly, but I hope it makes sense. I'm just trying to explain the logic I used for it. So let me know if it's helpful. Yeah, I don't think Tyson will have 3 rounds in him, Ty. I hope he does, and I genuinely hope Jake loses and Tyson wins, and I'll celebrate if he does. But I think people want Tyson to win so bad that they overestimate his likelihood of winning. Good news is Tyson's going to earn a check from this. He's going to make some money for sure. The bad news is he's probably going to lose. It depends, right? Some of the other fights, like Roy Jones versus Tyson, like they come up with these agreements before the fight. You could tell Tyson versus Roy Jones was not a real fight. And so if Jake and Tyson agreed beforehand that this is just a money grab, they might just kind of like light spar each other. They're already using 14-ounce gloves. So the gloves are not like thin. They're pretty pillowy gloves anyway. And so I think there's a chance that nothing happens and it's a really boring fight, money grab. No, I don't bet on sports like that. And so I think they probably have agreed beforehand to go really light with each other, not do a lot of headshots. And, you know, they're just trying to make a bunch of money from it. Jake couldn't even beat, was it Tommy Fury? And he got pieced up by Tommy Fury. Some people tried to pretend like Jake won. He certainly didn't. He lost that fight easily. And he's like a B-level fighter. So Jake is not that good. Right, but Jake is young, probably juiced to the gills, and he's got some hands, right? And I think that's bad for Tyson. If it's a real fight, it's bad for Tyson. Despite Tyson's skills, one of the things that happens is, like, I train jiu-jitsu pretty regularly, right? We could have this really good old black belt, but one thing that happens is your speed slows down, especially in striking arts. Your chin goes. It's one of the first things. Look at Stipe Miocic. Your chin goes bye-bye, right? That's not good for Tyson. You know, fighting Jake Paul with a light chin is going to be a risky thing. Hopefully Tyson's juiced to the gills too, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's just a money grab, in all honesty. All right, guys, we got about 1,000 people here live. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Retail sales data drop soon here, guys. Retail sales data drop soon. We'll see what we get. What's the over-under? My wife walks in here right around 8:30 and then gets mad that I won't pause my stream. Anybody got an over and under number? Again, we got the Empire State Manufacturing Index expected at 0%. Retail sales expected at 0.3%. Core retail sales expected at 0.3% as well. Empire State data expected at 0%. We also have import-export data and some other stuff too. But here we go. Get ready, chat. Get ready. We are here. We got 2.5 minutes left. Powell spoke yesterday. We just had a lot of stuff go on. PPI data was yesterday also. Again, hit the like button. Hit the notification bell. Guys, thanks so much. I appreciate the love. Let's do this. We got about 1,000 here. Again, NASDAQ pushing right back to that previous resistance level we talked about. Let's see if we can get over it. 2 more minutes. Yes, sir. No, does a loss diminish Tyson's career? No, Tyson lost his last few fights anyway. You know, everybody knows Tyson's 60 years old. Again, the problem, people want Tyson to win so bad that they overestimate his likelihood. It's confirmation bias. I want to believe Tyson does it too, but you gotta, you know, again, my mind's telling me no, but I hope Tyson can knock out Jake Paul. I'm gonna start charging y'all for my singing here. You know, top 3 singers in the world right now. I gotta charge top dollar. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half left. I think it'll be like 1 round. I think Tyson will get tired after like a round. 2-minute round for Tyson's probably gonna be a lot. Yeah, check out our free Discord. We'll see what happens. I don't know what we're gonna get for retail sales data. We'll see what happens. We got 1 minute left. Sometimes we get big reactions, sometimes we don't. No. You're not watching the review, Darren. You're watching the run up to it. They canceled the fight a month ago. All right, guys, 45 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream, guys. Everything we do here is completely free. We don't sell a course. We don't sell a service. We don't claim to be an expert. We don't charge for anything. Also, check out Top Step. Top Step funds traders. If you want to learn to day trade, this is the single best way to learn. No PDT row in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold. Patterns are super similar to blue chip stock patterns, and you can get funding for as little as $49. They're a sponsor and affiliate of mine. Confirm everything with them. I'm not an investment professional. All right, guys, we got 25 seconds. There's the link in the description and chat as well. But well, listen, we got 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left. We got almost 1,200 people watching. Let's see what retail data shows. Let's see if it moves markets at all. I'm going to put the SPY up on the bottom here. All right, this timer's a little bit early. We actually have about 5 seconds left. 5 seconds left. There's the SPY. I'm going to put gold up on the top. All right, let's see what we get. Here we go, guys. Here we go. All right, import-export prices came in positive, more positive than expected. The Empire State data came in at 31, and retail sales data came in at 0.4%. All of this showed a stronger economy than expected. Import price index came in better than expected. New York Empire State manufacturing data came in at 31 versus 0% expected. 31 versus 0% expected. Retail sales data higher than expected. 0.4% versus 0.3% expected. Again, 0.4% versus 0.3% expected for retail sales data. You can see here the market so far is reacting positively to this here. So you can see the market rip up. So far, we're having a pretty positive reaction to this retail sales data. A big increase in price. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move though. And so sometimes with these economic reports, we'll see a big increase and then we'll see a quick decrease back down. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I have no freaking idea what's going to happen. And this is a pretty big doji looking candle right here. So just be safe. I'm waiting for it to settle down a little bit before I start trading it. But again, better than expected data. Better than expected data here. Empire State data came in way more positive than expected. Retail sales data came in at 0.4 versus 0.3% expected. What did core retail say? Core retail showed up at 0.1% for core versus 0.3%. So core retail sales came in lower than expected at 0.1 versus 0.3. Regular retail sales came in at 0.4 versus 0.3. We'll put this up on screen chat so you can see it. But yeah, so far pretty good. I mean, not the greatest, but not the worst either. Again, we'll throw this up on screen. We'll also put the core data up. We'll give a list of this. We got core retail sales data 0.1 versus last time it came in at point. And the last time it came in at 1%. Let's see what this showed. Yeah. So core retail sales. Yeah, I'll just type this out. Core retail sales month to month 0.1% versus 0.3% expected. All right, guys. So again, here is the retail sales report. We got this data here. I'll get out the way so you guys can actually see it. Market now is reacting. Look at the big doji downfill reaction here too. Look at that. So again, there's the data. 0.4% versus 0.3% expected. Core retail sales showed up at 0.1% versus 0.3% expected. Market is not reacting positively to this at all. Now, again, first move, like I told you guys, sometimes the first move is the wrong move and then we correct back down. Let's wait for it to settle down a little bit first, but man, big movements here, chat, big movements. Nothing burger news. I mean, the market's honestly reacted a lot to this. Look at gold up here. Gold is really downward moved. Maybe the core data coming in lower than expected is causing this downward drop here. I think one of the reasons the market's probably reacting to it is like this, right? I think it's almost good as bad news and bad as good news again, like we had a few years ago. And the reason I say this is because I think the market wants rate cuts. I think the market wants rate cuts. And so I think what this means when we have stronger economic growth than expected, I think the market knows that this might mean less rate cuts moving forward, right? And so the market actually reacts negatively to this report because they're assuming that we're going to have less aggressive rate cuts or potentially pauses, no rate cuts in the December meeting. And they don't like that. They want economic growth. They want low interest rates across the country. And so anything that might signal less rate cuts or more hawkish Fed, more restrictive Fed in terms of monetary policy means that the market might actually react negatively to it. That's my theory, at least. And again, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that in chat. Do you guys think that's true or not true? So far, we've negatively reacted. Gold has negatively reacted to this as well, chat. So gold negatively reacted also. That's about even. There we go. All right, so far we've popped up a little bit. Let's see if we get some opportunity here. I might short. We got to get a good entry. Oh, I was going to short that and we didn't get it. We'll start with 2 contracts first. I was going to short, but we got this big doji candle. See if we just get a little pop back up. A pop back up. Yep, the family's coming in here right at... No, we're not. Like right after 4:30. Or 8:30. Alright, guys. Alright, so we're up. Let's see if we can bounce up a little bit. There we go. Trying to make moves. I don't like that as much. We got 2 contracts now. I think I'm probably right about this direction too. It's just taking too long. I think we'll probably have choppy reactions. So we got out flat a little bit there on those last shares. Flat. Here, don't do that. Okay. Okay, we're here. I love you. Have a good day. You're in a green sweatshirt? Yep. Got my green screen. I'm the floating head of truth in the stock market. I love you. Have a good day. That's a good nickname. I just came up with it. The floating head of truth. Maddie, what's a good nickname for me with my floating head? Give me one right now. What's it? Hit me with it. I know. A lot of people say that. I'm the trader of Oz. Jack, what's a good nickname for me right now? Floating. I thought about the floating head of truth. What do you think? Jack? Yeah. Yeah, floating head of truth? Yeah. Deal. Nice family, yeah. Floating Giga Chad. Floating losing trader right now. I'm down. Guys, I'm down. Honestly, and I don't like this at all. It looks like we're gonna break lows. Alright, buddy. Hey, I love you, man. I love you, dude. Have a good day, bud. Alright. You wanna say, hey, look, they're not gonna be able to see you. Because right now I'm floating. You know. There you are. What's up, man? Look, now you're floating in here, bro. Come on, man. Alright, dude. I love you, buddy. Have a good day, dude. Alright. Hey, baby. Whatever you're doing out there that's making the dog bark. Okay. Zordon. Yeah. All right, we are going to trade larger today, guys. And again, like I said, if you want to check out my sponsor, check out Top Step. Top Step, funded account program and futures. If you don't use Top Step X, you're missing out on the biggest edge in funding. Zero, like tiny amount of fees per trade. Tiny amount of fees per trade. 74 cents in fees per trade. A very tiny amount, right? No commission. Zero commission, tiny amount of fees per trade, and you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Patterns are super similar if you trade index funds to blue chip stock patterns. No PDT rule. They give you a demo. Base one's less than $50. If you pass their test, they fund you between 50K to 150K with a 90% split. The base one, you get 50K in funding if you pass it. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, 49 bucks a month. So it really is. Most day traders lose. If you put up the money yourself, you're probably going to lose day trading. I know this because I put up 4 or 5 grand when I first got started, lost it all in like a couple weeks. Almost all day traders are going to lose. And that's probably the same here. Most day traders lose, but it's a lot cheaper to lose here than it is to fund your own account thousands of dollars. You still get around the PDT rule. You could still get exposure to day trading stocks. And it just makes sense for most new traders. They've paid out over $100 million to their traders. At the same time though, guys, remember, they are a affiliate of mine. I am biased in their favor because they pay me money. All right. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. I don't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. You always got to make your own assessment. Trade responsibly, guys. Our long would have made money here too. Now we're moving up. But again, understand, not an investment professional. I'm not liable. But if you want to check them out, here is the link. Great way to help support the channel, guys. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Star Fox 64. I see somebody saying, hey, you love it. All right. All right, we're gonna buy this dip. Again, we're trading more aggressively today. Haven't had the best luck so far, but that's all right. 3 contracts. We'll probably go back to trading regular E-mini contracts after the opening bell this morning too. All right, we limited our size there just because we retraced back up enough too. We're getting stuck in the chop. All right, baby. All right. Okay. All right, love you. All right, yeah, we're gonna have to cut it. Top 3 worst trader of all time ever in the world. I was trying to catch a reversal because we actually had positive economic data, but I think my thesis remains true. We're also getting stuck in the chop, so we're not down that much. We're actually kind of flat on the day. We'll see if we get some better trades closer to the opening bell. I've been doing much better around the opening bell. And yeah, today we're only down like $100, so we got some room. We got some room. Gorgons. Do a barrel roll. Okay, here, let me see this. I might be able to. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Alright. Here we go. Was that cool? I did it. Guys, I did it. Alright. Hey, nice Chuck. Yeah, I'm like a kid in a candy shop with this thing, man. I'll play with this all day. Give me a green screen. I'm like a 5-year-old. Alright, so we're flat. We gotta wait to break out of this range. It's too early for this. I'm sorry, guys. Nvidia's last earnings tanked their price. What do you think it would do? Yeah, but you can't look at the last one and then try to gauge everything based off of that, right? Like, you really can't. We have slowed down dramatically in the NASDAQ. I think we have other economic reports. I completely forgot about this today, chat. So we have industrial production numbers at 9:15. Industrial production numbers, not the biggest report, but it might influence things. We also have retail inventories coming out at 10. Not the biggest report either, but we got industrial production and manufacturing production numbers at 9:15 market time. We also have capacity utilization rate, and the Fed Collins is speaking in 19 minutes as well. So these are all things that might influence markets. I don't know if the market's kind of waiting for this now, but these are all things that might influence which way we go here, guys. So again, we'll see. If you have to ask if it was cool, then it's probably not cool. Maybe. Top 3 less cool things in the world. Yeah. So, here we go. All right, so we did get a big rebound, so I should have just held on. All right, so the Fed's Goolsbee, I think, is speaking right now as well. He says that it's hard to reconcile recent weak jobs reading given storm impacts. The basic story is falling inflation, labor market cooling. I don't know. Is that the story right now? I think inflation's gone up. I mean, the last couple meetings here. So I think inflation has actually increased, not decreased. So I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think inflation's gone up a little bit, and I think the economy's actually shown stronger signals than ever. Again, it's an election year, so people get wrapped up in it, right? So people are constantly trying to act like the economy's in some super weak state, but it's not, right? The big problem is inflation, and honestly, this rebound would work too. But the economy is not in some super weak spot. The problem is inflation. Inflation has made things sticky over the past 5 years to where everybody doesn't necessarily want economic strength because they're fearing inflation, right? Generally speaking, and like conventionally economic growth is good, right? Like you want economic growth. The problem is that too much economic growth signals inflation, and something that we see a lot here is like when the Fed starts to get desperate to to save a struggling, failing economy, they do quantitative easing and other stimulus measures that cause inflation problems to get worse, right? We saw this after 2020 in the pandemic. Unemployment spiked and all these problems started to happen from it. And what did the Fed do? They did quantitative easing, QE. They printed a bunch of money, bought up bonds with it, trying to bring interest rates down. They cut interest rates to almost zero, trying to stimulate the economy, and it worked. Like we ended up getting out of it a lot faster than we normally would have. But we also had supply chain restraints, and so it was a nuanced market for sure. But the consequence of those stimulus measures, as well as the supply chain, issues, caused inflation to go up, right? Inflation spiked up to almost 10%, which was a really big high from where it had been prior to that. Almost 10% CPI inflation data, almost 7% PCE inflation data. And so it got up really high. And again, this caused a hawkish Fed, a Fed that feared economic strength, right? Because more economic strength means more inflation. And so the Fed pivoted, went hawkish, restrictive in monetary policy. And again, the way you think about it is restrictive mean like a hawk goes down. My dad's a falconer, actually, so I should know this. A hawk goes down, it dives down, right? That means the Fed is trying to push the economy down a little bit. That's why they call it hawkish, I'm assuming. Dovish means the Fed wants to expand the economy. A dove flies up, right? And so after inflation spiked up to 10% around 2022, following the economic stimulus measures of 2020 and beyond, the Fed pivoted to a hawkish stance. They started rate hikes. They raised the federal funds rate. They raised short-term interest rates. Eventually, it indirectly trickles into mortgages and stuff like that. And then they paused rates for like a year straight. They only recently started cutting rates back in September. And so now we've been cutting rates. The big question is, what do we do now? Like, what do we do in December during the next Fed meeting? And again, if we look at these probabilities here that we talked about earlier, right now, it's a little bit more likely that we're going to cut rates. About 62% likely that we're going to cut 25 basis points. About 38% likely that we're going to pause interest rates. And I don't know which one we're going to get. This is subject to change a lot leading into this report. So it really is subject to change a lot leading into this report. So just be ready. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so what Powell said yesterday, Powell did speak yesterday, and one of the overarching themes that he had was that it was a hawkish theme, to be honest. He seemed hawkish. He seemed like they might not cut rates as aggressively as a lot of people, including me, thought, right? So Powell seemed more hawkish than normal, which is, Powell's been very dovish. He's been pushing for interest rates cuts for a long time now. And again, yesterday he seemed a little bit more hawkish, a little, like more restrictive, meaning he wants to restrict the economy a little bit more to control inflation, is what it seemed like to me. But again, who freaking knows, man? Nobody does. We'll have to wait and see what we get. Well, no, he can't fire him because it's the Federal Reserve is independent from the government, right? It's not a government entity, believe it or not. Regardless of its name, the Fed, it's not a government entity, and so Powell can't. Yeah, they can pressure him to in indirect ways, but that's a low probability thing. It's unlikely, Like, you got to understand, politicians might say one thing and do another. It's not just one; it's all of them, right? It doesn't matter which side you're on. They say one thing, they do another. You could look at almost every politician over the last 50 years plus, really the last century, and see what they said leading up to the election, what they said they would do, and then what they actually did after they got elected, right? Usually it's definitely not parallel. Some of them follow through with some of it, but they certainly don't follow through with all of it. And you shouldn't expect them to. It's all the political game, which is fine. There's multiple facets of government to where, like, the president is not all empowered. Which is a good thing. I'm for a split government, personally. I like it split right down the middle. Nobody has too much power. Some might argue that nothing gets done, but I think split government, making them work together, is good. Well, the Federal Reserve is kind of like a bank that polices other regional banks. right? Like that's what it does. Not polices, but it's kind of like the big bank that leads other smaller regional banks, right? Like the Federal Reserve Committee is made up of the heads of all the other regional banks that work with the big bank, right? So, but it's not a government entity. It's not. Yeah, for sure, 100%, Sean. Powell did balance the economy after it. Again, people like to. One thing that I'm seeing on both sides is that people like to be super critical to, like, on the economy of 2020. Like, bro, the economy of 2020, nobody could stop what happened in the economy of 2020. Like, it was such a weird thing that happened, like, worldwide. It's not any politician. It's certainly not Jerome Powell's fault. You can't really control what happened there. That was like a worldwide thing that happened. And because of what happened, there were supply chain problems, there were inflation problems, there were unemployment problems, and that's normal. You know, we get kind of a crazy scenario like that once every like 30, 40 years, really. There's always something different, but we get stuff like that happens, and it's just a part of life. Life is unpredictable. Kid Rock will be running the Fed. He's been sitting there trying to unwind the economy. He gets behind the economy, you know. He needs to rewind the economy. $8:30 Central? No, so the data's already out. It might be in big letters. Wait, I usually am pretty good at weather manning this stuff. Wait, let me swim over here. Like, so the data might be right here in big yellow letters. It might be right there. You know, again, 0.4% retail sales data versus 0.3% expected. Last time it came in at 0.4%, so kind of flat there. Core retail sales did underperform versus what was expected. So that did happen. I'm like Nemo over here, guys. I'm like the Nemo of the stock market. All right, guys. So we did get the break of structure here on the trend. We had the trend. We got the break of structure. Now we don't know which way we're going to head. I think we got a sideways trend over the last 25 minutes or so. No idea what we're going to get. Part of me wants to buy this dip right now because I think we could see like a bounce here. But I really have no freaking idea. So do not copy me. Definitely don't put too much weight on what I say here. I think we might bounce and then go like this a little bit. And then we might go down. But I think it's going to consolidate a little bit more before it does. Again, I'm waiting for closer to the open. Hey, nice, Travis. Congrats, man. GameStop. Some people are asking me to look at GameStop. GameStop's running this morning too, man. Wow. Where's the highs of the last? It's all based off of what the highs of the last couple months are. Which is, look at this level. Look at $30. I think $30 is that level right now. We're currently on GameStop at 2840s. So we're getting there. Time will tell. We're gonna wait. My computer sounds like a freaking rocket ship right now. It can't be good. Can't be good. Again, we'll see if I'm correct about my directional thing here. Let me exit out of this. Again, I think we're going to bounce here, but I have no idea. Roaring Kitty ads. I've seen Roaring Kitty ads on Facebook as well, Pawn. But the Facebook page had no followers, and so I'm wondering if it's the actual real kitty, or if it's like some like imposter. Have you guys seen that as well? I've seen it a lot. I'm not sure what it means. I never follow it because when I look at it, it's got like 50 followers, so it seems a little shady, personally. Gold's still breaking down though, chat. So gold's right at the previous closing price, right at a pretty major support level too. Again, look at GameStop though, almost up to 29. It's probably time for me to update computers as well. Sometime within the next month, I'm going to be buying myself a whole new monitor setup and a whole new PC setup. All right, so we're starting to bounce a little bit like I thought we might. Again, it's still too early to celebrate though. I want to take one contract and I'm just going to buy one and I'm going to hold one and just take a little long-term trade in micros. I joined a scam. Yeah, 100%, dude. Again, I'm skeptical. A lot of them, it's kind of like when Wall Street Bets first came around, right? Like everybody and their grandmother was pretending to be Wall Street Bets to try to grow a following with regards to GameStop. Most of them were not the real ones. And so most of them were just kind of piggybacking off the hype, right? And so you got to make sure to follow real ones. It's the same thing with economic data, right? Like, honestly, I think I've changed the trend with economic reports. Like I see a lot of big YouTube channels trying to cover economic reports now, but a lot of them don't actually understand it, you know, so you can kind of tell a lot of them just don't understand it. And so, you know, it's important to follow the real source of it, or at least the original one, for stuff like that, because again, you guys know I understand economics, you guys know I cover it, and I know what I'm talking about. You got a lot of imposters out there that just kind of pretend and they jump on the bandwagon, I guess, if that makes sense. And I think one of the reasons we get so many views here, at least for economic reports, is because people know. Like, people know I cover it. They know I'm top 3 greatest economy YouTubers of all time ever in the world. And so, you know, top 3-ish. I don't know if I'm going to go with the G9. I'll probably get a cheaper version of an ultra wide. But definitely, I'm not going to get the $2,000 one. I'll probably get like a cheaper version of it. Alright, so we're in one position here. Again, I'm going to take one. I'll add to it if we go up a lot more. We're just getting our entry position. All right, so we're down a little bit. All right, so we're down slightly again. We're just waiting. GameStop's still up there. We'll see if GameStop makes its second move. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna add to this now. I think a downward move's almost too perfect. So I know that seems crazy. Again, we're 2 contracts is small. We still got an hour. All right, so we're up a tiny amount here, a tiny amount. Started hitting a super fake out. I don't know. It looks like a downward ascending, descending triangle. I mean, more CPU intensive. Yeah. G5, $300. Yeah, somebody was talking about the G9. Yeah, no, I've got an Alienware PC, and so like I've got a good like. This computer was not cheap, and I know like some hardware nerds are gonna get mad at me. I'm not really a hardware nerd. I'm more of a software nerd. But I just bought an Alienware. It was like it was like 3,000 when I bought this thing, which is not cheap for a desktop. But it's got a lot of monitor. It's perfect for gaming and streaming, to be honest. And that might be why the fan is loud. Because the fan might be loud because sometimes gaming fans, you know, are pretty freaking loud, especially in laptops. I think more. But all right, we're gonna lock in half of that. Perfect. Just take profit of about $30 here. We did get that bounce. You know, we'll cut the rest here. So we just made about 25 bucks. I'll take it. We got the little bounce. Maybe we'll add back on a pullback here. I don't know. Yeah, I knew somebody with Jim. I've had so many hardware nerds tell me that. It's all good. I'm a nerd too, bro. I'm just not a hardware nerd. So I can't judge you. Trust me, I'm definitely a nerd. All right, but I'm a software nerd, bro. Like I said, I used to download Pokemon emulators and ROMs in the freaking early 2000s and play all the Pokemon games before they came out. They were terribly subtitled, but they were terribly interpreted, I'll say. But they were fun. Loved Pokemon cards as a kid. Yeah. Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I like Star Trek too, to be honest. I'm a nerd's nerd. I'm just not a hardware nerd, though. You know. I don't PC game. I'm an Xbox gamer. So, like, you know. Yeah, this is like a 3 or 4 year old PC now, so it's time to upgrade for sure, but I don't really need to upgrade. My computer runs fine. You know, my computer runs fine. Here, hold on, guys. Hello? Hey. All right, we're back, guys. We're back. Sorry, I had to mute the channel for a second. All right, guys. I like how quick you already get out of trades. It's a good strategy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking, when you hear me look for a bounce, I'm not looking for a big bounce. Honestly, though, if you look at the long-term trend, I think I'd probably be a pretty good trim trader. Like, remember, guys, I literally called this down to a T exactly what would happen here. I told you guys exactly what would happen. I started shorting here, and I told you guys that we might get a break of structure of the trend, some consolidation, and then a downward trend so far. And that's exactly what we got. And so I think my trend trading is probably on point. I think identifying trends and watching for it, I think it just makes sense. I also think on a shorter term basis, I've done okay as well. I'm still kind of testing a lot of stuff here, but I think on like a shorter term basis, like, I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. We'll see if we can keep it up, though. You know, we'll see. Time will tell whether we can keep it up or not. Yeah, it just depends on what kind of PC you have, right? Like, there's some good ones. I'm not feeling the backwards head. There's some good ones. Again, it all has to do with, like, RAM, CPU, memory, you know. Like every PC I buy, I put in updated RAM sticks. Like this current one's got like 130 gigs of RAM, which means I can do a lot of different stuff simultaneously. Graphic card's pretty good on the computer as well. So like anything in the last 5 years is probably fine if it's like an upper scale PC, right? If it's like a base model PC with a tiny amount of RAM with like a minimum graphics card, it's probably not going to cut it. But if you got a lot of RAM and memory and good graphics cards, regardless of how old the PC is, it's probably fine. Thanks you all for keeping me company through these lonely mornings. Hey, all good, Biggie. I don't know if the questions was answered or not, but is Top Step state restricted or available everywhere in the US? I'm pretty sure it's available everywhere. I'm not 100% sure though. Yeah, my RAM's level 99, my fans are level 2, 100%, that's right. All right, guys, we got 25 minutes left. We got capacity utilization numbers as well as industrial production numbers in about 9 minutes here, chat, about 9 minutes. Base PC is easily a 3-year model. What? What do you mean by 3-year model? Yeah, but for me it's different. Trading's one thing, Thomas, right? You can trade, especially if you're using a web-based platform. It all has to do with internet speed. Like, so basically TopStep X is a web-based platform. It's not a software. That's different, right? Like, all you really need with a web-based platform on TopStep X is good internet. You got good internet, that's it. That's all you need. I mean, you need to close it, depending on what your memory looks like. You got to close a lot of stuff, right? You gotta only have a dedicated one thing that you're doing. You can't be browsing the web and doing all this other stuff simultaneously. But if you're using a web-based thing, it's different. If you're using a software, that's much more computer intensive. Hey, what's up? Wait, all good, brother, all good. If you want fast, it's all about CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Yeah, for sure. Well, it depends, right? RAM's certainly up there. CPU's important too. It just depends on what you're doing. Yeah, well, most internet speeds are going to be fine as it is, though, Thomas. Like, I grew up in the days where we had like DSL, and I grew up in the actual when I grew up. You know, I grew up in the 90s. Again, I'm in my 30s. So when I grew up, we had just a base internet connection. We didn't have high-speed internet. And so if you picked up the phone while somebody else was on the computer, it disconnected them from the computer. It didn't matter what you were doing. I remember doing like fun stuff and my mom picking up the phone or my sister picking up the phone, and it just booted me off completely. You know, we only started to get high-speed internet. There was like a buffer of DSL, which was like a mix between old connection internet and high-speed internet. DSL was like somewhere in the middle. So I remember that. But at modern age, right, like most base internet connections are going to give you like at least like 10 megabits per second on each side, upload and download. And that's usually fine. Even if you get like 4 megabits up and down, that's usually fine. Like, you don't really need faster internet than that. You just don't for most things. Now, if you're streaming like I am, that's different. You need a much higher upload speed. You need good internet. You know, I have fiber optic internet here, so like we got good internet. But yeah, dial up. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Freaking hated it. Yeah, mom, I'm on the internet. Get off the phone. 100%. Yeah, so we are breaking down now. I'm just waiting. We got a downward trend confirmed. We got the break of structure. We got this downward pressure here. Look at that gold. Gold sideways. Look at that GameStop. GameStop's getting up there. I'm looking at Nvidia also here. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia's down there too now. So Nvidia's fallen. Again, join our Discord, guys. So I'm trying to build this Discord community up. Yeah, so join our Discord. Let me see. I appreciate it. Who sent me that? Who sent me this? I appreciate it, Blaze, for the helps on the acid reflux. Thanks, man. But yeah, join our Discord right here. Completely free Discord. Doesn't cost a penny. I'm trying to build that up right now, so join it. I appreciate it. There's the Discord link. Check it out. All right, guys, we got 4 minutes before industrial production numbers. So we do have industrial production numbers. So yeah, we do have, all right, so retail sales data is already out. All right, so yeah, we got retail sales data out. So we got a couple more things we got to fix up here. We'll see what the industrial production numbers do. All right, fix our tags. Tesla's still undervalued. It's up a lot. I don't know. It depends. It depends on what you're betting on. The PE ratio of Tesla is not super low, and so in terms of value, I think Tesla. You know, I think Tesla value could be arguable. I guess is the best thing. Bitcoin currently scheduled. Yeah, Bitcoin's making moves too. All right, guys. Hat on or off? Should I leave my hat on or off? I don't freaking know. Gold. Bitcoin futures currently sitting Just over 90K. We are slightly downtrending here. We got a really light trend though. The trend's very small. PE ratio is like 70. Yeah, for sure. It's not really cheap PE ratio wise. Oil. Oil's up a little bit, but kind of flat on the day. Is this a good area to buy the dip? I'm not going to say yes or no. I really don't know. So the PE ratio with adjusted earnings after tax rate should be close to 100. Big crash incoming. People have been saying that for 3-4 years. Honestly, to be completely honest, I think that we might see red action over the next few years. Usually people mess with me and they call me like a perma bull, but I do honestly think we might see some red action over the coming years. Like I think we could. Like I'm not gonna say I agree with the bears predicting market crashes. I just think it's possible that we correct back down. I think we're up so much and we're up 50% in 2 years. I think it's possible we start coming back down. But I don't know. You know, we'll have to wait. So I'm going to change the watch list section in the Discord to economic discussion. Or economy discussion. Economics discussion. That's probably good. Yeah. Alright, so we changed the watch list to economics discussion. Yeah. All right, so we got this big breakdown, this big red action here. I'm going to buy this downward pressure up and maybe add to it and take a larger position getting closer to the open here. So we got 6 contracts here, 6 contracts. I'm going to have to be patient with this 6, but it's not a huge, monstrously large position or anything. What a drop. Again, I want to take some time, though. I don't want to just run out of this position yet. But, man. That's a big downward drop here. It's definitely squeezing some shorts out of this too, I bet. I'm gonna take some of this off actually here. I'm worried it's gonna retrace, and I'm probably just gonna have to get out the rest and lose about 100 bucks. I'm trying to trade larger, but man, that's definitely not what I expected here. I'm trying to, oh, the industrial production numbers. I'm dumb here, guys. I'm sorry, I completely forgot the industrial production numbers. They came in lower than expected for capacity utilization. Industrial production numbers came in as expected at minus 0.3%. I completely forgot about it. So I'm gonna switch charts here. I'm gonna switch to my other funded account. Because yeah, completely missed that. I'm sorry, guys. Man, my fault. See if we get some better price action now. Such a big like downward move here in a lot of stuff. Kind of scary. Let's see which way we go. We might bounce up a little bit, I think, here, but I gotta just wait. Honestly, pretty weak downward pressure now too, man. Is this the time for the big correction? Is it going to be today? I don't know. See if we settle down and bounce up a little bit. It looks like we might right here, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, I tried buying the dip too. I think I have to just be more patient. The problem with what I'm running into with regular E-mini contracts, it's just so large. I get emotional about it, and so I have to just stick with micros. I think it's not worth it. I'm just gonna continue down. I don't think anything's definitive, and this is what I always tell people. Like, nobody freaking knows whether we're gonna go up, down, or sideways. And I think it's human nature to want to be right and to want to like want validation. But I think you also have to understand nobody freaking knows whether we're going to go up, down, or sideways. The amount of times I hear people say we're definitely going to do this, and then we do something wildly different is so often. You know, you learn very quickly nobody knows. And the people that are usually super definitive, like, hey, we're going to do this, especially with short-term price action, are usually the newer traders, to be honest, right? Like, usually that's like a new trader thing because they haven't been around the market long enough to recognize that it's not definitive, that nobody freaking knows, you know? Well, market makers might know, but even still, they don't know which way price is going to head. Yeah, the industrial production numbers was this. I'll put this up on screen if you want. Or I'll put this up in chat. Here's industrial production. It came in as expected at minus 0.3%. Here's right here. Dunning-Kruger? Yeah. We do not know. Nobody freaking does. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes. Yeah, Dunning-Kruger, for those that don't know at home, he's Freddy Krueger's uncle, Dunning. You know, smart guy. All right, guys, we're breaking down. We're testing lows here. Let's see if we keep breaking down or whether we go sideways and bounce or whether we do something. Big retracement back up now. We're just fleas on the dog, yeah, for sure. All right, so we did flush down a little bit, but it's not enough. Like we're too down short term for me to really want to jump on it. I think there's too much extension. We got to watch Nvidia too. I think oil's up. Maybe else. I'm not sure. Again, nobody knows. We might continue down. It depends on what time frame you're looking at. But again, I really have no idea. I'm not going to claim to. The thing we got going on right now is Nvidia's right at lows of the day. Right? And so if we look at Nvidia here, right at 145, big whole dollar level. If this continues down, it's going to drag the market down too. But again, this is too much, you know, indecision. Yeah. Nvidia bouncing right at 145 too. Look, here's the support level right there. All right, Chad, we have 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes left. Oh, let's see what we get. I wonder if my camo hat, will my camo hat make my hair disappear? Kind of, yeah. Let me see if I can fix this up. Hold on. Yeah, I can fix the camo hat out. There we go. All right. I wonder if it would make me have like half a head. Like my head is, you know. Is there any data at 10 a.m.? There's something. It's not big. I think it is. It's nothing. It's nothing big. There's some type of report coming out at 10. I can't remember exactly what, but it's nothing that's going to influence the economy big, or the market in a big way. It's business inventories, and so it's not a huge thing. We got Goolsby speaking on TV later at 2 o'clock today. Susan Collins doing an interview at 10:30. John Williams, New York Fed President, speaking at 1:15. Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin speaking at 3. This is what we got going on right now. It's small. It's I don't know. Each individual report can move differently. What would you consider a gap? Well, it depends on what kind of gap you're talking about. Like, gaps used in two different contexts in trading, right? One of them is something like this, where we have a little bit of gap between price, like a little bit of gap between price. So let me see if I can find a good example of this on the chart. Usually it appears in moments of like big momentum. Like here is like a very small gap of like price where we move down really big. Let me find it. And we have like a little bit of room. You know, we have this area here. There's a gap down to the lows right there. Like, so that's one context. The other context is talking about pre-market and extended hours trading. So the other context is like Nvidia. If a stock has big news, there's three contexts really. We could be talking about pre-market data, but talking about different gaps. Some people are going to consider gaps just the difference in price between the close of pre-market here and the open the next day here. So this gap is what they're referring to in pre-market, this gray area. You know, another example would be the close down here and the open up here. This gap would be the gap that they're talking about, the gray area on the chart. Now, other people are going to consider a gap where there's no price action at all. Right, so other people are going to consider a gap where something gaps up like a reverse split and there's zero price action to accompany it, right? Which we're going to see less and less. Like here's a gap right here, right? So here's a gap here, All right, so some people are going to consider this a gap, and this is what the conventional use of a gap is, where there's no price action in the middle, indicating really big strength on the upside, right? But there's a lot of context that gaps are used in trading. All right, here we go. Here's the opening bell, guys. Let's do this. All right, there's the open. There's the open, guys. Let's do this. All right, so far, choppy, neutral. All right, we're gonna let the opening bell play first before we kind of target anything here. Sideways, kind of neutral here. All right, so now we're starting to flush a little bit. We're just kind of waiting here, chat. I'm trying to wait and see if we can get some better stuff going on here. Yeah, let me fix my floating heads a little off. I can see it. I want to switch hats or go no hat. I guess I'll go no hat here. It's fine. All right, chopping down here, chat. Chopping down. Again, I gotta just sit here and wait, chat. I really do. I gotta just sit here and wait. We're getting so much consolidation. I'm thinking about buying this here. But I guess I'm gonna sit here and wait it out. There's a flush. While I'm waiting for this price action to start here, guys, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step, funded account program and futures. Again, they give you a demo and they test your skill with it. You can see the 50K combine is only 49 bucks right now. In that situation, they give you a 50K demo. They test your skill with the demo account first. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. The big edge, in my opinion, is Top Step X. If you look at this here, there's literally no commission on Top Step X. I can literally trade and have 74 cents in fees per trade on Top Step X. You can learn how to trade. If you fail, it's not the end of the world. Much cheaper, usually at least, than funding your own account thousands of dollars. And again, they fund thousands of traders. They paid out over $100 million to their traders. If you pass the test, you get a 90% split. If you fail, you lose. The base one is 49 bucks. Not the end of the world. Super cheap to learn how to trade on. It gives you some pressure. It's a really good middle ground of pressure, yet not the full extent of funding and losing thousands like most new traders end up doing. And so again, check them out if you haven't already. It's a great way to help support your boy here in this channel. And yeah, I'll put the link up. They're an affiliate of mine, though. I'm biased because, you know, they're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased for sure in their favor because they pay me money. But honestly, genuinely good for new traders versus funding your own account and losing. There's the link. Check it out. Sitting here waiting for some stuff to happen here. I'm gonna start buying now. I think I kind of have to. There we go. Got a nice little good trade here. We're gonna cover the rest up there, scalping. See if we get some better movements here now in markets. Big red action though at the opening bell today, guys. Just huge red action. Question is just how long can we keep falling? Where's my coffee? There it is. I think we got to start bouncing it visually, right? We've had so much bearish red action here. Finally got a green candle coming through, or at least somewhat of a green candle now. Wow, look at that flush back down. I'm sitting tight here, guys. I don't really want to buy this because it's too weak. I don't really want to do anything else on it because it's too strong. Or I don't, it's too extended. So I just gotta wait, I guess. Who knows how long this thing's gonna keep falling. So there's a final rebound here. We finally coming back up though, but after just brutal red action here. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty good at the 700 low, but I think we're extended on the upside. What I was criticizing you for is definitiveness. Like, you might be right here, but that's not the point. The point of it is that nobody truly knows. There's variance in everything, right? Like, an example of this is if I have ace in poker in Texas Hold'em, right? If I have ace, does that mean I'm automatically gonna win? No, it's not definitive. Nothing's 100%. I could lose to 2-7 offsuit. And so the point is, it's fine to say, hey, the probabilities are good here, not good here, or I like this here, I don't like this here. But telling people something's definitely going to happen, again, you might be right, but I've seen 5 different people do this over the last week or two, and they've been wildly wrong. And so it's important for new traders to understand nothing's for sure certain going to happen, and you got to take it with that mindset, you know. No, I mean, it's all context, Justin. We're not super red, right? Like, it could be worse for sure. All right, looks like we might crack lows again. Here, let's see. Kind of consolidating around this low up here at 7. There's a big bounce right back up. 10-year yield rising. Yeah, the 10-year yield's rising for sure. If you look at TNX, which is what I usually look at when I'm talking about the 10-year yield, 10-year yield's up to 4.5% today. Now, what does that mean? That means that people are more hawkish. The yield goes up as interest rates go up. The yields go down as interest rates go down. So as interest rates go down, bond prices go up and yields go down, right? As interest rates go up, bond prices go down and yields go up, right? So this is basically people betting on a more hawkish future, is what it means. All right, so we're gonna buy this dip, 3 contracts here. Gonna add to it 6 contracts. The volatility is kind of high today. The range is high in this for sure. We are taking larger positions, is what you might notice here, so bear with me if we're taking larger positions. Trying to get used to it. I don't like taking full micro contracts or E-mini contracts, but what I do like is buying multiple micro contracts. And on Top Step X, the 0 commission factor is pretty good. All right, so we've scaled into this position. Gonna go and lock some of that in, lock some of that in. 1 contract left. Didn't really get the best entry in money making a potential from this one. 4 contracts. See if we can catch it back. There we go. I think 2 contracts is a pretty good starting point for me to get used to bigger size here, but there we go. Lock that in. 1. It's a risky add right here, but we're going to try just 5 contracts. We're not going to add more than 5. I just want to see if we get that quick retracement back up. Bearish pressure. Yeah, just getting caught in a red day. Now we broke it under 7. We're at 688s now. Gold's popping back up too. So I think people are more optimistic. Again, I think most of this has to do with interest rate expectations into next year. I think now with higher retail sales data, a stronger economy, people are less optimistic about rate cuts because the Fed might be more hawkish. And that's what he said yesterday during the Fed meeting as well. So I want to see if I can catch a bottom here, but it's certainly up in the air. kind of flat on this. I'm gonna cut a little bit of this off now. We could get up there some more. Take another piece off. Got the rest of that break even. That way I can hold maybe like 3. I gotta limit my risk if I'm wrong. The Floating Whistler is a good nickname, I think, too. Might add back size here. It just depends on whether we think we're going to break lows. We're way too close to the lows here. I got to just cut it. Could be better day. There's the bounce. We're down a little bit on this Friday, but again, we actually had much better reading of the market in pre-market. Once the opening bell happened, we just got so much red action. Let's take a big flush back up. Let's see if we can get a rejection back down in range a little bit now. We were right about the upward move too, but just a little bit early. It's all good. A lot of red action coming through. We're gonna bounce back up, or are we just gonna stay firm here? We went right up to that support level we drew earlier. Yeah, I think we go up or down here. Again, I'm trying to slow it down. It's Friday. Not the easiest to trade. I like it when their revenue went down 7 billion. The stock gained 100. Yeah, again, guys, I'm scalping. It's Friday. The market's kind of sideways and not really giving us any big edge. So, I mean, some people hold it for days. Some people hold it for hours. Some people hold it for seconds. Again, I'm one of the top 3 worst traders of all time ever, so don't copy me, for sure. But we're just kind of sitting here waiting. Well, sideways, it depends on the context, Tony, right? So what I'm saying is the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 minutes have looked like this. So obviously we're day trading now, so the context we're using is day trading. We're definitely red. Again, Tony, so I could take it out of context and use whichever way I want. I could say, hey, we're sideways over the last 10 minutes. I could zoom out and say, hey, over the last 4 hours we're red. I could zoom out and say over the last 24 hours we're red. I could zoom out more and say over the last year, last 3 months we're pretty green. I could zoom out more and say, hey, over the last year and a half, we're pretty green, you know? And so it's all about context here. We're day trading, so we're taking super short-term trades, just waiting for this to break out of the trend. There's an upward move, though. We were talking about day trading since the open. I mean, I'm just talking about the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Not much of an edge. We got a big upward move, though. I'm looking at the support and resistance level. It depends on whether we're going to hit the 200 EMA or not as well. We're getting kind of close to it, but it's way up here. I'm looking at the Q. I'm just wondering if we start to give it back now. It's hard to, again, it's hard to tell. Zoom out 100 years. Got the bottom on Tesla shares at 302. Hey, nice, Elvin. Good job, brother. I'm heavy in Palantir. Is Palantir up today? Palantir's up to 63.30s. Looks good. Yeah, like we're pretty flat today, guys. It's not like we haven't made or lost any type of big amount on both accounts, to be honest. And that's probably just the nature of Friday as it is. We had retail sales data. We had some other stuff. We don't really have anything else big coming out today, in all honesty. Like, we got some stuff going on, but nothing like major. We got some Fed speakers, but I don't know how much they're going to even move things. Bullish W pattern. You mean this? I don't know. I think long term it could look something like this, right? Where we're down, we move back up to the 200 EMA or the volume weighted average price, and we continue down. That's possible. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's a possibility. The other option is we've moved down, and then for whatever reason we start to regain strength, fight our way back, hold the 200 EMA, and then continue up. Either one of those things could happen. You got to look at like Nvidia. Like, I look at Nvidia a lot. Let me put that back up on the chart. So here's Nvidia, and again, Nvidia's down on the day, but it's starting to fight its way back over the VWAP here. So we'll see. Following your skill, only buy dips. Yeah, that swing trading investment system that I use is powerful. I don't want anybody to copy me though. But yeah, Disney. I've been saying the same thing about Disney for years. You know how many people made fun of me for buying Disney at like 80, 85 bucks? I never heard the end of it. They made fun of me. They talk smack. Disney starts to move up. Oh man, nobody wants to talk about it anymore, do y'all? Again, the logic is simple. Every time Disney dips to $85, $90 a share, I buy it up. I'm not telling you to do it. I have no freaking idea what's going to happen. Is the market quiet until Nvidia earnings too? It's possible. Yeah, we got to look at Nvidia to see what it does short term. Yeah, I mean, we're down less than $200 on each of our accounts. It's a pretty small day, honestly. We just haven't done a lot. It's too hard to predict. I'm going to short this now, though. Again, we take very quick scalps here. That's what we're doing. I'm just not into taking too large of trades here. It's too unpredictable in markets right now. Take a piece of that off. See if we can break down some more under this major level. We're right at a pretty strong, like, heavily used support system. I'll take the rest off there. Again, we're just trying to, like, get out small on the day. We'll get out there too. So $20 bill there. I'll take it. in a day of low visibility or low volatility like today. Where's the VIX at? I'm assuming it's low today. Oh, it's at 14s. Still pretty low though. Why is Netflix down? Netflix went up a lot yesterday, didn't it? Yeah, so I mean, Netflix isn't down. Like, okay, so here's something that you want to understand. All right, so like, let's put up Netflix. Here's Netflix's chart. Let's put up a 15-minute chart. You know, and I guess this is the nature of YouTube in general sometimes, but like Netflix has done this over the last few weeks, right? So it's kind of like Netflix does this, and then when it goes like that, people are like, hey, why is it down today? Probably because I'm not even trying to be mean. Like, it's all love. Like, it doesn't matter, you know. Like, it doesn't really matter too much. But we have this big upward move, and then we pull back some. It's probably just this extension. Like, look at this extension. It's up a ton. And so it's all good, but like Netflix is up huge over the last few days. It's not going to go straight up, you know. Question, but what's your favorite credit card? I'm not going to tell people what kind of credit cards I have, brother. No offense, man. I'm good. I'm good on that. Hope you understand. Yeah. Yeah, and if somebody's making fun of me for making $20 a trade, like, look. Same people doing that are the same people that destroy their whole account gambling, you know. You know how many people I've had try to make fun of me for the sizing I use in my trades? You know how many of them are still trading? Zero, right? Like, most of those guys are just gamblers. Like, they follow some guru into wanting to make $2,000, $3,000 a trade, make 5% a day. They say, oh, you can make 5% a day. And then when their whole account goes gone, they think that the strategy was real. Same type of people that use the martingale roulette strategy in trading. They just keep on losing money. And so again, one thing that profitable traders overwhelmingly don't do is go to other people's streams and make fun of them, right? Like, that's kind of like a, you know, again, misery loves company. So I think people just want to drag them down. And again, I'm here for it, right? Like, I'm top 3 worst trader ever. I love my little $7 gains. And honestly, the drama kind of gets people excited in the chat anyway, so we can have fun with it. But still, top 3 worst ever. Yeah, no, honestly, it feels really good. I've been telling people for years, like, I'm gonna keep growing on YouTube, and people are still gonna get mad, you know. Y'all just be careful though. It really is sideways. The reason I'm trading especially small today is because there's really no range over the last 20 minutes. It's Friday. Volatility is usually a little bit lower on Friday, meaning we have less big moves. And you don't have to trade big every day. Like, that's a misconception. And again, new traders in chat, don't listen to people like that. The ones that pressure you to trade large are usually the ones that are destroying their own accounts. In order to make $1,000 a day, like, I get it, people want to look cool on the internet, but in order to actually do that, you need like a $500,000 account or more. Really, you probably need more than that. So again, if they're out there preaching and pushing people to trade large, usually it just shows that they're pretty new as traders, right? Like, they don't really understand, and maybe they got sold on like a guru mentorship or something like that, is what I always assume. I have 4 different monitors. I've got 2 34-inch ultra wides on the top and bottom, and then I have a 27-inch and a 27-inch. Oh no, you're good, Justin. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to tell you my credit cards. It's all good for you. Could ask. I don't think you meant. I think it was an innocent question. It's just not something I'm going to answer, though. Of course.
You know, and it's still like the same guy that we just banned. Like, he's got this YouTube channel that has no views on it. It's really weird. Like, the correlation of the hating people, like the people that are super like mean and hateful in the chat, there's a super strong correlation with like they've tried to be YouTubers, right? Like the people that are the loudest and the meanest are usually people who have tried to be a YouTuber and failed at it, right? And so I guess it kind of makes sense how they go from room to room, like hating on people that are actually larger than they are, you know. Cheers to them, guys. Without them, look at my glass on the green screen. Without them, my channel would literally be small, you know. I'm gonna get out of here though, guys. Hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Y'all be safe this weekend. Let me know who you got, Tyson or Jake Paul. I'll be here to tell you I told you so when Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson. Even though I'm not gonna be happy about it, I hope I'm wrong. Please let Jake Paul lose. Please let Mike Tyson KO Jake Paul. I genuinely hope it happens. Please. Hold on, wait. Please let Jake Paul lose. I hope it happens. Come on now. Let it happen. Let Tyson win. I love the jar. Listen, I'm from the South, bro. We drink out of jars over here, you know. It's not moonshine, it's coffee. But yeah. Failures not out there, 100%. Top 5 psychologists in the world. It's already predetermined. I don't know, man. I think if Tyson's gonna win, he's got to do it in the last minute. He's got to do it in the last minute or two. After the last minute or two, he ain't gonna have the power to finish it. I hope he does it. Tyson, come on, man, you got this. John Jones versus Stipe. We'll see what happens there. That's obviously Jones is gonna win. It's not even that impressive anymore. But hey, I love you all. You'll have a great day. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support your boy here on this channel. No PDT rule in futures. Check it out. Link is in the description. They're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased, but genuinely a good way to learn day trading with less risk than funding 10 to 20,000 of your own account. Most day traders lose. If you try to fund your own account, you're probably going to lose. Don't listen to people in the chat that try to tell you got to make all these big crazy trades. Trade small. Top Step will teach you how to do it. Limit your risk. No PDT rule. No commission on Top Step X. If you want to sign up for a broker with them, use Top Step X. And again, they're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased in their favor for sure. Always remember, guys, I am not an investment professional. I am not liable. If you lose, you got to make your own assessment. Trade responsibly here. Guys, I love you all. You'll have a great day. Good luck. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Tyson's not broke. People don't understand. I'm gonna end it with this. People don't understand. Listen. Whatever you enjoy doing, if you like skateboarding, if you like bicycle riding, if you like boxing, if you like MMA, right? If you can grow a following talking about something you love, you'll always be happy. You really will. Tyson is one of the biggest names in the world of anybody, of any celebrity. Everybody knows Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson will never have to like get a conventional job again. He just won't, right? Mike Tyson could Mike Tyson gets so many sponsorships and everything else. I promise. He's at least making $500K a year for the rest of his life, right? He just doesn't have to work again. He's such a big public figure, it doesn't matter, right? Now, is he super rich? No. And at the very least, he's going to make a couple million from this fight. And so I'm happy for him, even though he's probably going to lose. Jake Paul's young. We'll see what happens. Hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. And I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great one.